Didn't you?
And we'll have that. And Caitlyn Jenner wants to be the trans ambassador of a certain Republican presidential candidate. We'll have that at 5:35.
I never knew you and Caitlyn Jenner had something in common.
Where do the similarities begin and end?
But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good Friday morning, thank goodness, to Mike Scott.
Dan and Amy, good morning. 27 degrees, and you've been talking with the listeners about it this morning. The GOP presidential debate last night, if that's what it can be called. Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, well, continually knocking down each other last night, especially Rubio and Cruz going after Trump, who was repeatedly put on the defensive during the debate.
He's trying to do to the American voter what he did to the people that signed up for this course. He's making promises he has no intention of keeping. And it won't just be $36,000 that they lose. It's our country that's at stake here.
Trump accused of flip-flopping on a number of issues, but said successful people have to be flexible. Cruz, Rubio, and Kasich all vowed to support Trump if he is the Republican nominee. They also insist the race is not over. Families of 12 passengers on board a Malaysian Airlines flight are now suing the airline. Flight MH370 disappeared en route from Beijing with 239 passengers on board March 8, 2014. Now, the families are filing suits against the airline before a 2-year deadline for legal action comes up. President Obama promoting rise in health insurance enrollments in one Midwest city.
Millions of people have bought affordable health insurance, and many of those bought it for the first time. Last summer, we learned that for the first time ever, America's uninsured rate has fallen below 10%.
At a speech in Milwaukee, the president said thanks to his law, 20 million more Americans have health insurance, but recent polling shows a major dissatisfaction with the president's major policy achievement. SpaceX will try again later tonight to launch a Falcon 9 rocket and put a communications satellite in orbit at Cape Canaveral. A man is facing murder charges following a deadly shooting at a near West Side high-rise. Reggie Daniels shot and killed Darren Joss Wednesday night inside the 8th-floor gym of that building. Staff members at the Chicago Public Schools will be taking furlough days in an effort to cut costs. 3 days, March 25, June 22nd, and June 23rd. The move may save the district as much as $30 million. And politically this morning, Bernie Sanders back in Illinois. The Vermont senator rallying at SIU Edwardsville. Sanders is expected to discuss a number of issues, including one of his major issues, getting big money out of politics. Chicago sports, Boston beat the Blackhawks 4-2. College hoops, Maryland roughed up Illinois 81-55. Northwestern a win over Penn State. In the Valley Tournament, Loyola topped Bradley 74-66. The news service of the Foundation for a Better Life. She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but gave her all. Compassion, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. 5:34, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. And a check of traffic and weather coming up next on AM 560.
America right now is better off than it's ever been. Man, if I thought that, I wouldn't fight.
The Joe Walsh Show.
52% of young people would do away with the First Amendment. We have people being fined and threatened with jail time for exercising their religious freedom. Yes, I am a pessimist, but that's why I fight.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
LiveWatch helps you connect and respond up to 10 times faster in an emergency. LiveWatch has no long-term contracts. Save up to 50% off home security. Call 855-LiveWatch or visit livewatch.com.
Fact. College Illinois 529 prepaid tuition locks in tuition at today's plan rates to help secure your child's future. Purchase a plan now and protect yourself from the rising cost of college tuition. Enroll now at collegeillinois.org.
Our parents have always been heroes, but when they begin to show signs of memory loss, we have to be the ones to save the day. A pioneer in memory care assisted living, Autumn Leaves designs every residence exclusively for those with Alzheimer's and dementia. Autumn Leaves staff members provide personalized care for each resident to unlock memories and create moments of joy. And with programs that encourage families to stay connected, you can be confident that you found the best place for mom or dad. There's so much more at Autumn Leaves. Learn more today at autumnleaves.com/Chicago.
Place your orders for promotional items now for the year. Get ready for the big trade show. Provide shirts or jackets for all of your employees, students, or church members. Or giveaway items like coffee mugs, pens, or hats. Whatever it is, you can trust an American to take care of it.
This is Sam Gilberto, president of American Embroidery and Screen Printing and American Marketing Products. We specialize in putting your logo on just about anything. Our focus is entirely on you, our customer. We want every customer experience to be outstanding.
Here's an offer to help your budgets for the new year. 10% off and free artwork on embroidery and screen printing orders for all new customers. 10% off and free artwork on embroidery and screen printing orders for all new customers.
We have the capability, capacity, and know-how to get your job done right and on time.
Call 630-766-2825. 630-766-2825. Get more at trustinamerican.com. This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Best beans, best roast, best coffee.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Woodstock, 14 remains closed. Well, that closure is now between Dimmel and Rose Farm after an earlier crash and ongoing investigation. Antioch crews have extinguished a fire on Deep Lake Road, and cleanup is ongoing in that area not far from Calvin. Edens, Kennedy looking good. No problems to report on the Eisenhower. Inbound Stevenson, a little slow Pulaski to Kedzie. Got a 1-minute delay. The Ryan has a 2-minute delay from 18th into downtown. Bishop Ford, a 4-minute delay from 103rd to the merge. The other expressways and tollways look good. Major road work happens on the north side this weekend. Western Avenue at Belmont. That intersection will be shut down entirely for the weekend for demolition of the old Riverview overpass. Traffic is a service of WesternUnion.com's mobile app. You might be stuck in traffic, but your money shouldn't be. Send money around the world 24/7 with the Western Union mobile app. Download the app and send your money fast. Next time you need to send money quickly, get out of a jam and tap the Western Union app. It's money. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Clouds on the increase today. 38 for a high temp. Bit of snow overnight. Coating to an inch. 31 and 42 on Saturday. 23 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. That's next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MJ Miller & Company Jewelers. When reputation and customer service matters. MJ Miller, Main Street, downtown Barrington.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're going to get to Romney's speech and, of course, more debate and take your calls and texts and tweets and all that. I just tweeted this. This is a fascinating story. It's a cross-section of anonymous Trump supporters in The Guardian. Not even my wife knows. Secret Donald Trump voters speak out. I mean, it's anecdotal, but I think it's instructive, really. Here's a couple examples. Hispanic attorney, he's 29 years old in Florida.
Oh, he can't be a Trump supporter.
He has demonstrated that he is at heart a caring person. My sister worked for him and has spoken glowingly of him for years, just like everyone else who actually knows the man. I trust her judgment more than any random pundits. This is interesting, too, setting aside the personal connection. Before he ran, this Hispanic attorney says, the left stranglehold on the national conversation of what is or isn't tolerable was getting stronger by the minute. It was the year of Caitlyn Jenner, Rachel Dolezal, Black Lives Matter. Anyone who even hinted at disapproval was exiled. That's one. Mm-hmm. You ready for here? I mean, there's a dozen in here. They're all really interesting.
Well, at my son's school, I'm sorry to bring that up again, but you cannot talk about Donald Trump because if you say you like Trump, the other kids in class are going to bully you or not sit next to you at the lunchroom table or not play with you at recess.
Does anyone find that a recess? Racist was a Freudian slip.
Recess.
Yeah.
Where they kick the ball around.
So Trump is...
He's toxic.
He's like Fight Club. The first rule of Trump is you don't talk about Trump.
Yeah, you don't.
Uh,
And you can't now in one classroom. Can't do it.
listen to this Trump supporter.
Okay, who's this?
20
Cross-dresser?
20-year-old gay Arab Muslim student in Missouri.
Okay, that's too many. He's a
Gay,
a young
gay Arab Muslim student, 20 years old in Missouri. My parents are horrified. As a gay Muslim, the Republican Party has not been kind to me, to say the least. However, the Democrats almost arrogantly expect me to hand my vote to them because of who I am, which insults me. Trump will break the poisonous bonds that hold America and the cult state of Saudi Arabia. Clinton would never do that. She would continue supporting Saudi Arabia while bombing Islamic countries left and right. An anti-PC college professor in California. I'm angry at forced diversity. An evangelical pastor, 51 years old in Tennessee. I'm not electing someone to fight for my soul. A white male retiree, 62 years old in Delaware, who has a PhD, MBA, and JD, licensed attorney. Trump is a wake-up call. A retired biomedical engineer in Hawaii. It's too late for a cure. Basically, you got to blow the system up. And on and on. I mean, it really is fascinating. That's why I appreciate this piece, because it's what I've been saying for a while now. This whole idea of litigating, build a wall, temporarily halt Muslim immigration, the trade deals, that pretends this is a substantive matter, and it's not. It's a psychological one. This is a psychographic, and it's not a demographic. It's not people make less than $75,000, people without a college education. It's so much more complicated than that because it is a psychographic. So you could be highly educated, or you could have just completed high school, and you may be in the same position, have the same viewpoint about the federal government and about the underlying culture. And frankly, you may have been hurt and continue to be hurt financially and ridiculed culturally, regardless of your education or income level. This piece speaks to that, and I think it also underscores how tone deaf the other candidates' campaigns and the Beltway party leadership have been.
Somebody yesterday at the gym compared Donald Trump to Jim Jones. Remember the cult leader who took people down
and I suppose,
and killed? They all drank the Kool-Aid and died.
Yeah, and was that a person who made the comparison a Obama Kool-Aid drinker?
You know what? I didn't ask about that, but he honestly thinks. He said, "Well, this is what the Germans did, Amy. This is how the rise of Hitler came to be. He sounded good and his ideas were good, and then he took over, and then he took people out of their country."
Yeah,
I said, well, slow down there, buddy. Count to 10.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's going to happen. He's not that diabolical, but he's just concerned about this movement for Donald Trump.
And the question I would ask, it is different in tone. It is different in terms of the disaffected constituency to which Donald Trump appeals. But tell me, for those people who think that this is the rise of people who have been brainwashed, tell me how you distinguish what's happening in 2016 from what happened in 2008. And frankly, which a lot of people that are making the Hitlerian comparisons to Trump probably were part of the Kool-Aid drinking crew in 2008.
No, I'm sure that he was. But Barack Obama, then U.S. Senator, had some experience in politics.
Yeah.
Not unlike Donald Trump. And the way that he approached his campaign wasn't as crass and as crude and as almost violent rhetoric.
The tone is different.
Yeah.
Hope. It was
hope and change. Was that
2 words?
You got hope. I got milk. Yes.
2 words. And Barack Obama, he had a record, and that was completely dismissed. I'm not interested in his record as a state senator. I'm not interested in his record as a U.S. Senator. I'm not interested in his associations. I am going to project onto him what I want him to be. So what is different about that than what some Trump supporters are doing with Trump? I mean, I want to know the answer, especially from people that were Obama supporters. And frankly, there are a lot of secret Republican Obama voters, just like there were secret Trump voters.
Really? I would not. Secret Obama voters that were Republicans?
There were not secret Republicans who were Obama voters. Charles Krauthammer and George Will, two deep thinkers, they got snookered by Obama. Chris Buckley, Bill Buckley's son, got snookered by Obama because you know what? He played into the elitist sensibility. He had the academic credentials, and he had proper syntax, and it was a chance to make history and all of the other things that don't matter a whole lot when it comes to the actual policy choices he would make that impact your life. And it took a lot of people, including some conservatives, some deep-thinking conservatives. It took them a couple of years of Obama to realize just how badly they had been played. So, again, I ask, what's the difference? Those at least criticizing the Trump as this movement of drones who aren't thinking and don't care about the substance. Where were you in 2008 with Barack Obama? I have a feeling there's a bit of a Venn diagram that could illustrate some of this.
Krauthammer didn't vote for Obama the second time around. Just the first time.
Yeah,
well, I'm just saying he woke up and
the first time was crime enough. Randy and Sandwich.
Okay, Dan, let's pull the camera back a little bit because I have a question for you. I want to see where do we go from here. Because on one side of the fence, you have Trump supporters that are in this movement that are sick of all the things that we've already talked about 100 times. And then on the other side of the fence, you have the Republican establishment that is continuing to double down and try to trip Trump up, not recognizing that this movement's coming at them. And rather than them say, okay, you know what, the gig is up, we need to just say, okay, what do we need to do to fix this? They doubled down on this. So now we're all moving together in this election, and it just continues to go to thermonuclear war here in the Republican Party. My question to you is this. How do we finally fix this? What is the solution? Because we keep going on both sides where we're aiming at each other in a civil war here. So what is going to be the white flag that's going to pop up that's going to end it all?
I don't know. I mean, I think what happens is ultimately you have a victor. This happens in every fractious primary. This one, I admit, is different. But you have a victor, and can that victor unify the party? And I think, frankly, you've seen a bit of a shift in tone from Trump, from his press conference on the evening of Super Tuesday to even last night's debate. Now, he couldn't help himself but get dragged into some of his kind of worst instincts, like in his exchanges with Rubio. But there were other parts of the debate, and frankly, even after the debate, where he said Megyn Kelly did a nice job, where I think he
did a nice job.
I think
challenged him where the candidates couldn't on certain facts.
But I mean, the perspective on Trump is, I think he is trying to move a little bit. I think he realizes that he has got to come back to the, I mean, not to the center, but to kind of sense and decorum a little bit more than he's demonstrated to this point.
There's a question I've been dying to ask you, Dan, and what I want to do is I'm going to come back on the 15th after voting day, and then we'll relook at this, okay? The question that I've been dying to ask you is this. Can Trump be molded into what we want, or do you believe in your mind Trump will never, ever be what we want him to be? Because I'm thinking, from my perspective, and then I'll let you answer, is that as you go through this process of trying to become a president, it changes a person.
Yeah.
You go through and you go and you don't start off the way you were in the beginning and end up where you are at the end. No different than when you actually become president and we see the pictures of 8 years of contrast of the person who's went through all that crap and stress and everything. So my question is, can Trump be molded into what we want him to be? And then I'm going to try to come back 2 weeks from now when we do Election Day and see if he's changed any more between today and 2 weeks from now.
Well, Randy, here's my answer to that. I think Trump can be molded into anything, and that's my concern. So because of exactly what you said, that the presidency changes you, nobody's really fully prepared for it until they're in the Oval Office, having a core that informs the policies you would choose, that informs the decisions you make is so important. Having that foundation is so important. Trump doesn't have it, and that's the thing that frightens me the most. In
other words, you're saying he's a jellyfish, and you're afraid that if we put another jellyfish after the one we just put in there, that we're going to be worse.
I'm not saying he's a jellyfish. I'm saying it's worse than that. I'm saying he's Elmer Gantry. Thanks for the call, Randy.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
More of your phone calls coming up about last night's debate. I loved one of the headlines, Dan, on ABC. GOP debate hits new low. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
That's not fair. We could go lower.
Would you think so? I don't know. Today, increasing cloudiness, a high of 38 degrees. Tonight, a little light dusting of snow. Tomorrow morning, you'll wake up to a couple of flurries. Otherwise, it'll be mostly cloudy, breezy, a high of 42 degrees. And on Sunday, for your polar plunge, it will be breezy with mostly sunny skies, a few high clouds, but warmer, a high near 48 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Any good news on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Well, it's good right now on the Edens and the Kennedy. No delays to report there yet. The Eisenhower, a little heavy past Manheim. Stevenson has about 2 minutes worth of delays, mainly from Pulaski to Kedzie. The Rhine is slow from the Burge to 87th and the Stevenson into the Burns Circle. 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 16 minutes. I-80 to the Burge, Bishop Ford 19. The other expressways and tollways are good for now. In Woodstock, 14 is closed between Dimmel and Rose Farm after an early morning crash. I'm Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
CertaPro are the experts in exterior painting, but now is the perfect time to paint your interior. Refresh and renew your living space and escape the winter doldrums. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and I've used CertaPro several times to paint my home. They're fast, efficient, clean, so quiet I didn't even know they were there. CertaPro is easy to work with. Your life won't be disrupted by messy, inconsiderate contractors. They will move the furniture, and when they finish, they will move it back. With their color specialist, CertaPro takes the stress out of choosing the perfect color. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Call CertaPro today at 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's Certa with a C. And book your winter painting project. Schedule your free estimate today. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
If you suffer from depression, consider TMS, an incredible new advancement in treating and relieving depression.
I'm Gina, and I suffered with depression for 19 years. And like most people, I tried medications and I couldn't tolerate the side effects, and they never worked properly for me. TMS was a great thing. It helped me out so much. Now I have the sparkle back in my eyes, and I'm able to feel great about life again. It worked really great for me, and I would absolutely recommend it to anybody suffering with depression.
TMS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, is a safe, non-invasive, and highly effective treatment for drug-resistant depression. Most insurance companies cover TMS, including Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Depression can be beaten, and without drugs. To schedule a free consultation, call Theramind at 847-562-5868 or go to tmsmind.com.
Hi, folks. Joe Walsh here. I recently visited Precision Payroll of America in Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois. I'll tell you, I've been hearing Tom's ads for years, and to meet his team and spend a little time with them, I realized why their clients and employees stay together so long. I also didn't realize what great services they offer. Payroll processing, tax filing, time and attendance, and human resource consulting. Boy, we could all use help there with all these new and yet to be introduced regulations from healthcare to full-time equivalency. Precision Payroll of America has the right services and the right approach to help companies navigate these crazy times. For a service provider you can relate to and will look out for your best interests, call Tom at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Also, visit precisionpayroll.com, but then pick up the phone and call Tom. He is sure to deliver great value and even better service.
Running a business can be challenging, especially here in Illinois. You face mountains of regulations on top of mountains of taxes and fees, not to mention new Obamacare requirements. Business owners who manage to survive and thrive deserve to be recognized. And that's exactly what we here at AM 560 The Answer are going to do. This spring, we'll be hitting the road on the AM 560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank. It's a way for us to celebrate local businesses who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the many challenges they face. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting this show live from various locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business and fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients in your community. We'll select several businesses as stops on our AM 560 Business Tour, and we'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. We hope to inspire other business owners and show the world that, yes, you did build that. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story, and we may be stopping at your location this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour.
The following is a paid political announcement.
We begin with the scandal for the IRS. Medicare fraud has become one of, if not the most profitable crimes in America.
Whew. Washington's a mess.
Boy, sure is.
Nobody's doing anything about it.
Yeah, maybe your representative's not, but my congressman's actually getting some results.
Who?
Peter Roskam. He's led investigations into the IRS scandals.
Really?
Yeah, even passed a law to stop the abuses.
Oh, yeah. I saw something on Fox where they called Roskam the man leading the charge.
Yeah, he's actually forcing some accountability.
It's about time somebody did.
Make a right at the light?
Okay.
Anyway, Roskam's great on Medicare, too. Yeah, he's got a solution to stop the fraud.
Huh. That could save us some money.
Sure would. It's an easy decision on March 15th. I'm voting for conservative Peter Roskam. He's actually getting things done.
Paid for by Roskam for Congress Committee.
I'm Peter Roskam, candidate for Congress, and I approve this advertisement.
Costa Rica is an Eden of limitless possibilities. With lush emerald rainforests, volcanoes, winding rivers, and untouched beaches along the sweeping mountain countryside. Book during the Apple Vacation Spring Super Sale and take advantage of the biggest savings of the season. 7 nights at the adults-only Occidental Grand Papagayo start from only $13.99. Or make it a full week at Riu Palace, Costa Rica, starting from just $14.49. Both trips include round-trip nonstop air, resort transfers, all meals, drinks, and taxes. Essential Costa Rica. Call Traveloni at 312-334-7876 to book your trip today. That's Traveloni, 312-334-7876, or visit Traveloni.com. Prices per person based on double occupancy for select departures starting May 6th, including charter air on Extra Airways from O'Hare, and taxes and fees including September 11th security fee. See AppleVacations.com for baggage charges. Prices subject to availability and change. Restrictions apply. PC 15094.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1502. That's 1-800-663-1502. 1-800-663-1502.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, it's like nothing we've seen before in modern American politics. The last GOP presidential candidate is trying to stop Trump. Will he be effective?
Yeah, and I'll cede my time to the godfather of the Tea Party movement, Rick Santelli, for the Romney response at 6:06.
But first, into the newsroom we go, and we say good Friday morning to the one and only Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we are watching right now. A man charged in a deadly Chicago high-rise shooting. CPS announces 3 furlough days for employees. 3 have been hurt in a fiery crash near Deerfield that remains under investigation. Cubs lose their Cactus League opener while the Bruins doubled up the Blackhawks. They have a day of increasing clouds and a high near 38 degrees. Snow developing overnight, a coating to an inch on the overnight, making for a slick start to your Saturday. Complete look at weather coming up after Fox News on AM 560 WIND Chicago News Time. 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It went just as expected.
I have a policy question for you, sir.
Let's see if he answers it.
I
will. Don't worry about it, Marco.
Another testy Republican debate.
Don't worry about it, little Marco. I will.
Donald Trump
Big Don.
Don't worry about
and
it.
Marco Rubio getting into it again and again.
Gentlemen.
You ought to
Ted Cruz also sparred with Trump as they attacked his record and positions in Detroit last night.
Donald Trump defended changing his position on key points.
I've never seen a successful person who wasn't flexible, who didn't have a certain degree of flexibility.
Ted Cruz defended his attacks on Trump because he says Trump's gotten so personal. Marco Rubio says Trump has it coming.
So if there's anyone who's ever deserved to be attacked that way, it's been Donald Trump for the way he's treated people in the last campaign.
John Kasich played up his serious points.
People say everywhere I go, you seem to be the adult on the stage.
And the hits just kept coming between the other 3.
Breathe.
Lion
breathe,
Ted.
Breathe. You can do it. You can breathe. I know it's hard. I know it's hard, but just...
When they're done with the yoga, can I answer a question?
You cannot.
There are 4 contests tomorrow. In Detroit, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Days after new UN sanctions, North Korea's leader puts his finger closer to the nuclear button. Fox's Alistair Wanklin live in our Asia Bureau.
Dave, North Korea is saying its nuclear forces are on alert and its military is going into preemptive strike mode. A U.S. official quoted calling that bluster, saying the North cannot put its atomic weapons on missiles. This after the United Nations Security Council slapped new sanctions on everything from jet fuel to jet skis. China, too, will observe that embargo, which is designed to increase discontent among North Korea's elite. Dave?
And Alice, the attorney for a white Alabama cop charged with murder in the shooting of a black man last month, is accusing Montgomery officials of acting politically. He claims that the officer shot the man who was acting suspiciously. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy and 26 degrees. It is 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. A man facing murder charges following a deadly shooting at a near West Side high-rise. Police say Reggie Daniels shot and killed Darren Joss Wednesday night. Police say Daniel then fled the scene after the shooting and turned himself in yesterday. Staff members at the Chicago Public Schools will be taking 3 unpaid furlough days in an effort to cut costs. CPS CEO Forrest Claypool announced teachers and other employees will be forced to take those unpaid vacation days March 25th, June 22nd, and June 23rd. CTU Vice President Jesse Sharkey reacted to the news.
If the board wants to avoid a strike, they're doing exactly the wrong set of things by attacking our pay and treating us with disrespect. This increases the likelihood that there's going to be a work stoppage on April 1st.
The move is expected to save the district some $30 million. The Illinois House of Representatives voting overwhelmingly in favor of a bill to create an elected school board in the city of Chicago. AM 560's David Stewart gets reaction from Springfield.
The 21-member elected school board would replace the current system in Chicago, in which the board is appointed by the mayor. Mayor Emanuel avoided criticizing the bill, saying the real school problem is unfair funding.
That legislation doesn't address all these inequities, and that's what I'm focused on addressing. Bill?
But he ducked when he was pressed further.
I told you where I think the problem is, and I don't think what the legislation addresses that problem.
The bill is backed by the Chicago Teachers Union, which claims the current system gives Emanuel, or any mayor, too much power. David Stewart, Chicago.
3 are recovering following a fiery crash near North Suburban Deerfield. State police say a semi struck 2 vehicles yesterday on I-94. One of them lost control. A new police unit will help patrol Metra's trains. The agency announcing 6 full-time officers will actually travel in uniform and plainclothes on all 11 of Metra's lines. Chicago sports. Bruins over the Blackhawks, 4-2. College hoops, Maryland over Illinois, 81-55 ahead of the Big Ten men's tournament. Northwestern top Penn State, 71-61. The women's tournament is underway, and the big upset of the day in Indianapolis, Northwestern top Minnesota. The news service of Unbound. Around the world, there are young people who face difficult decisions. Continue their dream of an education or drop out to help their families. In a single moment, you can help them. Write a news story. See Potential Not Poverty at unbound.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity sends a warning to whoever wins the GOP nomination.
Whoever wins this is what they are going to do. This is how they play this game. This is not beanball for Democrats. Hillary Clinton wants Air Force One. She wants to be called Madam President. There's nothing that she won't say or do.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
6:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In North Chicago, there's a crash reported on 41 southbound, south of 137. Woodstock 14 is shut down between Dimble and Rose Farm for crash investigation. The Edens and the Kennedy are delay-free for now. In Bella Eisenhower, slow 17th to Des Plaines Avenue. 31 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound flight at 29. Stevenson, 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Mission 420. Traffic is a service of Jewel Osco. Don't miss Jewel's 3-day sale. Save big on Del Monte bananas, just 29 cents a pound. Buy 1 dozen Eggland's Best Eggs and get another free. Limit 4. And they've sliced the price on Jewel lighter wheat bread. 16-ounce loaf, just 99 cents. Limit 4. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center, aircomfort.com. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Clouds will increase today. We'll have a high of 38, then snow accumulating a coating to an inch tonight with a low 31. Morning flurries, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy. Tomorrow with a high 42 and a partly cloudy night, low 26. Clouds and sun Sunday, high 48. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
27 at O'Hare, 30 along Chicago's lakefront. Next news at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
And let me put it very plainly. If we Republicans choose Donald Trump as our nominee, the prospects for a safe and prosperous future are greatly diminished.
If he would have run, and even if he would have won, it would have been bad. He doesn't have what it takes to be president, that I can tell you. He doesn't have what it takes to be president.
Let me say something. This campaign for the last year, Donald Trump has basically mocked everybody with personal attacks. He's done so to people that are sitting on the stage today. He's done so about people that are disabled. He's done it about every other candidate in this race. Anyone who's ever deserved to be attacked that way, it's been Donald Trump for the way he's treated people.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And the pregame speech yesterday from Mitt Romney was as advertised. It was not to announce an independent candidacy. It was not to endorse a particular candidate, not named Trump in the Republican field. It was to make the case against Trump generally. And that's what Mitt Romney did. Oh, for those of you who heard his speech, read his speech online, your reaction to his speech, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Of course, you can download the AM560 mobile app to communicate with us that way as well. And my takeaway from this, Amy, was, and I know you're in deep like with Mitt Romney.
It's beyond that, yes. I'm a huge Mitt Romney supporter. Right. The man could do no wrong. So when he spoke for 20 minutes and 12 seconds, I listened to it in its entirety.
I understand he completes.
I'm enamored.
I got it.
Yeah. He had me at hello.
Yeah, clearly. Really. So my take was the substance of the message, pretty good. Pretty on point. Wrong messenger.
Who else could have delivered that? John McCain wouldn't be effective,
right,
even though he kind of jumped on saying, Trump's a danger to democracy, and he's a danger to the Republican Party.
Right.
He's hijacked the Republican Party. Donald Trump has.
He's not doing this without support. So this whole these phrases that pundits use and headline writers use really demonstrate a lack of understanding of what's actually happening. It's a movement. It's not.
I would be okay if Donald Trump was a Democrat. That'd be fine. But I think he saw an opportunity there. Somebody told me yesterday that there was a weakness in the Republican Party, so he wanted to take over the Republican Party.
Well, it's take over. You have willing participants. Let's remember, everybody's an adult here. Everybody's responsible for their decisions. This is not one person. The pundit class in D.C. is perhaps the greatest co-conspirator with the feckless Republican leadership in giving rise to the likes of a Donald Trump. But here's something else about Romney, in addition to being the wrong messenger, in my opinion. And I think his speech will dissipate into the ether very quickly. If you want to distinguish yourself from Trump, Republican leader types like Romney, Republican elders like Romney, if you want to cut a different figure, then perhaps a better approach, or at least part of the approach, would be including some humility and some contrition for where we find ourselves and what the Republican leadership in the House and the Senate, Republican majorities in the House and the Senate, have done and failed to do. Where is the humility and contrition, which would be a nice contrast to what Donald Trump offers? I didn't hear it yesterday. I didn't hear it at all. And I haven't heard it from anybody who wants to stop Trump, who says never Trump, who have been in positions of authority, who have been in decision-making positions in the party. I think that would go a long way. You know, as all cliches are true, the American people are a forgiving people. You know what? We recognize that some of the things we've done or not done, some of the deals we cut, some of the places where we didn't fight, and on some of the issues where we didn't fight, where we could have dug in more than we did. We have made mistakes. Not mistakes were made. We have made mistakes. We have not been as aggressive as we should have been. We have not been as good at communicating an alternative vision to the radical left and their leader, President Obama, as we could have been and should have been. Where's that part of the discussion from the Beltway elite types? I just don't hear it, and I didn't hear it from Romney yesterday.
And let me put it very plainly. If we Republicans choose Donald Trump as our nominee, the prospects for a safe and prosperous future are greatly diminished.
Yeah, Romney got
So
in
is there any truth to that?
Here's the case Romney made rather than just the sloganeering. The case he made, he started talking about the economy and why he suggests that why he suggests that a Trump presidency would put us into a recession.
If Donald Trump's plans were ever implemented, the country would sink into prolonged recession. A few examples. His proposed 35% tariff-like penalties would instigate a trade war, and that would raise prices for consumers, kill our export jobs, and lead entrepreneurs and businesses of all stripes to flee America.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
There
good
is some
that's a good
substance to
example.
that, yeah.
That's a good example. I agree with that. I completely agree with that.
Then who could have delivered this besides Mitt Romney?
Well, I
mean, if we're making a collective effort to try and stop Donald Trump and get more of an establishment Republican in there, who could do it?
Yeah,
I thought he was spot on, and I loved his tone. I obviously loved his delivery, and I liked what he said. He took him to task about trade. He took him to task about, just the craziness of this campaign.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, rather than my response, let's get Rick Santelli's response.
Okay.
Love Rick. Rick Santelli, whose harangue heard round the world, spawned the Tea Party back in 2009.
Because he doesn't want to pay for his neighbor's new bathroom. Remember that?
Among other things. Santelli was asked about the Romney speech on CNBC, and he had this to say.
So I guess I'm a little lost that all of a sudden he has a courage that he didn't display at a time where the Vice President, Biden, and the current President, Barack Obama, partially were elected because of the following statement: GM is alive and bin Laden is dead. It was all about terrorism. And Mitt Romney, if you'd have had that courage that day, would have most likely won.
Thus, the wrong messenger. Santelli went on, and he got even more
Heated.
exorcised, which was very entertaining, as he is.
I think a lot of the things he said are grounded in truth. But I also think in his argument against Trump and the positives of other Republicans, my comment would be, what have they done that should make voters think that Mr. Trump and all his verbiage is going to not do something, or his foibles, when they have been in power, okay? He brought up John McCain. Did he win? Did he win? Okay? I think that he is missing this. It's not necessarily what Trump says. It's what people think he's going to do after he gets elected, and that is things that are actionable. Now, we could debate what that is, and I'm not going to tell you if I'm in favor or I'm against. I'm just saying that the political landscape that Mitt Romney is painting is in a strange, surreal sort of way exactly why he was rejected and moderates have been rejected, because they talk a good game with high character and high morals, but they deliver zero.
Bingo. And this is why I suggest that what's missing from the discussion and from the super PAC ads, which I think have generally been lame and that will continue to fall flat, that are targeting Trump, is that contrition, that humility, and filling in the blank that Santelli just identified.
Well, Mitt Romney tried to do a character assassination on Donald Trump.
But you say, wait. Isn't he a huge business success? Doesn't he know what he's talking about? No, he isn't. And no, he doesn't. His bankruptcies have crushed small businesses and the men and women who work for them. He inherited his business. He didn't create it. And whatever happened to Trump Airlines? And then there's Trump Magazine and Trump Vodka and Trump Steaks and Trump Mortgage. A business genius, he is not.
Is there any truth to that?
Well,
I mean,
I'm not going. I don't know all the details of all of the Trump brands.
You never tried Trump vodka?
I didn't.
Or flew Trump Airlines?
I have not, or did not. But here's one thing I would say about entrepreneurship. You have a lot of failures and you have a few big successes, and that makes the difference. If you lose an election, does that make you a loser? No. If you have a business, if you have a startup and it doesn't fail, you're an entrepreneur, does that make you a loser? Does that make you mean you're not a good business person because, you hit on 2 and you missed on 2, or you hit on 2 and you missed on 10? Sometimes it just takes hitting on 1. No, it doesn't. I thought the substance of Romney's remarks, there was a lot of merit to what he had to say, on point. Wrong messenger, wrong tone. Let's go to Mark in Barrington. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Good.
The Romney stuff yesterday, quite honestly, disgusted me, and it just proved even more that one rich old guy is complaining about another rich old guy. I mean, you got to remember where Mitt came from. His father was in the car business at GM, I believe it was, in Florida, in Detroit.
Yeah, Romney.
He went to the finest schools.
Yeah,
Birmingham.
Romney was not born a poor black child. That is correct.
He inherited a fortune from his father, who was also in politics and governor of Michigan at one point, I believe.
Yeah, he was.
So you're talking about political class right there to begin with. And not to mention, Mitt must not be paying attention to the economy the way it is right now with the recession as it is. You've got 7 states that are actually in a recession right now due to the oil crisis or the lack of oil crisis or the oil prices right now. They've been contracting for 10 straight months. That's a recession, and there's warning signs before Trump could get in office that there's a problem. So, as someone who's between Trump and Cruz right now, I don't know. I don't know. My friends are honestly voting for Trump, and they are even more motivated now to go start pounding on doors. And I've got one buddy who wants to be a delegate for Trump for Illinois.
Thanks for the call, Mark. I'm not surprised from that by that reaction you're describing to Romney's speech. Thanks for the call.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
More of your phone calls coming up. 312-642-5600. Was Mitt Romney effective? Have you changed your mind, Trump supporters? Yeah, right. But we'll take your calls anyway. Today in the weather department, we're going to have increasing cloudiness, a high of 38 degrees tonight into tomorrow morning. A few flurries, no big deal. And then tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be cloudy, 42 degrees. And on Sunday for the polar plunge, breezy with times of clouds and sun, a high near 50 degrees. Travel times, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. The Eden still 19 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy, 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. The Eisenhower's 33 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 30. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 17 minutes. I-80 to the Murray, Bishop 420. Northbound Tri-State heavy at 290. 2 trouble spots earlier this morning. Woodstock 14 is closed between Dimmel and Rose Farm due to a crash. Antioch, there is a closure of Deep Lake Road. This is it's a closure of Grass Lake Road, north of Deep Lake Road, for a fire investigation. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
A beauty day to play 18, huh, Dale? 80 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. The forecast looks great for the next 3 days, too. Looks like we'll just schedule 3 more courses this week.
You've been pretty lucky that you've been able to spend some quality time in the sun. Something that you may not be so lucky with is the fact that 1 in 5 people will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. At Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, they know that most people are unaware of the effects that a lifetime of sun can have on their skin. If you've been sunburned in your lifetime, it's time to have your skin checked out. Call Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates at 855-560-SKIN. or visit skinhealthpros.com. The doctors at Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates have your skin health covered. Skin cancer kills, so today's the day to get your skin checked. Dermatology and Plastic Surgery Associates, 855-560-SKIN. or visit skinhealthpros.com. Healthy skin, healthy body, healthy, happy you. Everywhere you go, the threat looms. It follows you no matter what you do. The longer you avoid the IRS and the financial difficulties you're going through, the closer they get to you. John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm can help you end the feeling of being hunted by the IRS. If you've avoided taxes or could benefit from the life-saving assistance of bankruptcy, it's time you call John DeWatt. This is an attorney who is willing to take on the federal government on your behalf. He has worked to discharge thousands of dollars in penalties, and he can help you settle your debts once and for all. Call 888-777-4193. Let the hunters become the hunted. Let John DeWatt of Thinking Outside the Box Law Firm deal with the IRS personally. Call John for your own relief plan. 888-777-4193 or online at thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com. That's thinkingoutsidetheboxlaw.com.
Did you know color is vital to your health? I'm talking about the color of the food you eat. A colorful diet is a part of staying well because many nutrients are color. Eating a wide variety of fruits and vegetables provides your body with the diverse chemistry it needs to heal itself and stay well. Now ask yourself, how many servings of fruits and vegetables did I eat today? Balance of Nature has solved this problem and provides an easy and affordable way to consume over 10 servings of 31 different whole fruits and vegetables every day. My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Amy, I was thinking about your question about who would have been better to give a speech like the speech Mitt Romney gave, maybe including some of what I've suggested, and I've come up with an answer.
All right, what's your answer?
Scott Walker.
Ah, of course.
Wisconsin Governor Scott
Going back
Walker.
to the stable.
Well, and it's not because he's some dynamic speaker, and that was his problem as a presidential candidate, but the issue is, who has somebody who has put in the fight, been unyielding in the face of pressure? Not Mitt Romney. Not Republican leadership in Congress. Scott Walker in Wisconsin.
Yeah, he's had it in his face and succeeded.
And oh, by the way, I would encourage people to check out a piece in Forbes this week. 5 years after Scott Walker's budget repair bill, what's happened in Wisconsin? You want to talk about an economic turnaround?
Do they have a budget surplus?
They absolutely do.
Oh, nice.
What
does that feel like? What does that look like, Dan? Because I've never known it.
You never will. Not as long as you're an Illinois resident.
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
I'm changing countries.
All right, taking your calls. Let's go to Ralph in Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. You know, Wisconsin's turnaround is almost complete. Almost time for the Democrats to claim credit for it and to run against them again. Regarding Romney yesterday, Romney was ineffective as a candidate, and this sort of, behavior that he exhibited yesterday, if he was even half as believable when he ran for president, he may have gotten not beaten as badly. I still think he would have lost. That's a guy who didn't want it. At least Trump wants it. I would rather have Cruz. I predicted wrongly, it appears, that Trump would fold and eventually he would just fade out like a vapor. He's got some staying power. I don't like it. And McCain, if they bring McCain out with like a pet chimp on his shoulder and his comfort pineapple, keep him away from a microphone.
I'm
Thanks
so
for the
sick.
call,
I
Ralph.
really have to tell you, the past 2 days, I'm so sick of people saying Romney wasn't successful and there was no fight in Mitt Romney. Maybe he was just too nice during the campaign.
Oh, then get off the stage. Then don't run for president.
He's accomplished, and I trusted him. And again, a lot of people who are Democrats, who are my friends, said they have buyer's remorse. They wish to God they had voted for Mitt Romney.
Well, you can't do it over. So tell your friends.
I
tell
want
your
a
friends.
do-over.
Mitt Romney got pushed around by Candy Crowley. You think that would happen to any of the candidates on this stage last night? No.
Oh gosh, no.
Right.
It's a different time, though.
Marty in Rockford.
Yeah, a couple things. First off, I completely agree with Rick Santelli. Amy, you said that Romney took Trump to task yesterday, and there's the theme. He wouldn't take Obama to task. He wasn't tough enough to be president. He was. It's pathetic to watch him yesterday with that approach when he lacked that as a presidential candidate.
But you know what? And at the end of the press conference, he said, I hope it'll be interesting to see how Donald Trump handles this.
Will he talk about our policy differences, or will he attack me with every imaginable low-road insult?
And what did Donald Trump did? He did the most sickening, disgusting thing a human being could do.
I'll just address it quickly because it's irrelevant. I could have said, Mitt, drop to your knees. He would have dropped to his knees. He was begging.
For money, for his support when he ran for president. But come on, he could have said it differently.
Well, he also said this, Trump did in response.
So with Mitt, I just wanted to tell you that he came out, it was very nasty. I mean, I thought he was a better person than that. I did help him. I raised money for his campaign. I actually had 2 fundraisers for him. In fact, the first fundraiser was so successful that we had the second one that same day. His wife, who was a lovely woman, by the way, a really lovely woman, she came up. We had a fundraiser in my apartment at Trump Tower, and it was so oversubscribed. I did a great job. They couldn't have cared less about him. In fact, a lot. Donald, he's a stiff. He's not going to win. I said, oh, he'll be fine. He's a stiff. I should have listened to the guy.
There you go. Candace in DuPage.
Okay, here's my worry about Trump. First of all, he had an abysmal performance last night, and I thought that Ted Cruz did fantastic. Marco Rubio was like a pest. And then Kasich, I wish he would have been that far right the entire time, which is why I don't trust him. But my point about Trump is he reminds me of George W. Bush in the second term. I don't think that he can stand up to liberals or the pressure that the media will put on him if he were president to lean left, because he really is not a man with solid convictions. Yes, he did a great job with his children, so he does know how to raise kids well. But he's all over the map on these subjects, and especially Israel and the Middle East stuff really scares me.
Thanks, Candace. Ed on the north side.
You may be surprised to know there's some liberals who support Donald Trump.
I'm
and
not
I'm one of
surprised.
them.
I'm not surprised.
Okay, why do you like him, Ed?
I love him because he says the things no one else will dare say. Get rid of the illegal aliens, get rid of the career politicians, and George Bush failed on 9/11 and lied us into a war. No one else will say those things.
Thanks, Ed.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do no harm.
It's an oath every doctor takes, and Dr. Nick Stella takes that oath very seriously.
Do no harm.
Obamacare is a disaster. Dr. Stella will fight to put healthcare decisions back into the hands of patients and doctors.
Do no harm.
With the threat of terrorism becoming an everyday reality, Dr. Stella will make national security a priority. And instead of arguing about problems, he'll focus on solutions.
Do no harm.
For too long, politics as usual has invaded Congress. As a practicing cardiologist, Dr. Stella's focus is for positive outcomes, an idea that's been lost in Washington. Washington insiders have failed us on all levels: the economy, jobs, national security, healthcare. Dr. Nick Stella has spent his career helping people improve their lives. Dr. Nick Stella will be the outsider voice we need in Congress. Dr. Nick Stella, Republican for Congress.
I'm Dr. Nick Stella, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Stella for Congress, Inc.
If you're going to take a vacation this year, why not make it a vacation you'll remember for a lifetime? Imagine taking a trip that's more than just a vacation. Imagine taking a trip that brings history to life. History that includes the Greek Parthenon, the Acropolis, Malta, Rome, Naples, Jerusalem, and many other places. This is exactly what you'll experience on the Footsteps of the Apostles Mediterranean Cruise. It's happening this fall aboard Celebrity Cruise Line's Silhouette Cruise Liner. Experience the sights and sounds of the places where faith, culture, and history intersect. This 15-day trip includes stops in Italy, Greece, Israel, Malta, and Turkey. You'll travel in luxury on a premier cruise ship with deluxe accommodations with all meals included. Don't take another vacation. Take a trip that you'll remember for a lifetime. For more information and to book your trips, visit footstepsoftheapostlestour.com. I think I'm going to do this trip. That's footstepsoftheapostlestour.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Bruce Dumont, legendary host of Beyond the Beltway, joins us at 6:36 to pour over the debate.
but first let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, Donald Trump used last night's GOP presidential debate to fire back at 2012 Republican nominee Mitt Romney, who called Trump a phony and a con man. Trump called Romney a failed candidate who simply wants to be relevant.
Well, look, he was a failed candidate. He should have beaten President Obama very easy. He failed miserably.
A steady stream of insults intertwined in the policy debates amid the backdrop of the Republican establishment efforts to derail Trump at last night's debate. Rubio, Cruz, and John Kasich all said in the end they'll back Trump if he wins the nomination.
They're interested in solutions, not slogans. It's easy to say, make things better, make things great. You can even print it and put it on a baseball cap. But the question is, do you understand the principles that made America great in the first place?
John Kasich said on stage he'll continue gaining support as his message is heard more. The Ohio governor saying he knows how to bring people together.
I have never tried to go and get into these kind of scrums that we're seeing here on the stage, and people say everywhere I go, you seem to be the adult on the stage.
Kasich is confident that he'll win in his home state of Ohio and Michigan. SpaceX will try again to launch the Falcon 9 rocket and put a communications satellite in orbit at Cape Canaveral. Aviation investigators in France are looking into a report that a drone narrowly missed a passenger plane wing on that plane's approach to Charles de Gaulle Airport. Co-pilots spotted that drone within 16 feet of the Airbus A320. Experts know what's making people sick in southern Wisconsin. They just don't know where it's coming from. Health officials are looking into an outbreak of Elizabeth Kinga that's left 18 dead and more than 40 others sick. The CDC is helping look for the source of the bacterial infection. They're testing water as well as skincare products. Man is facing murder charges following a deadly shooting in a near West Side high-rise. Reggie Daniels shot and killed Darren Joss Wednesday night. A retired Illinois state trooper has been convicted of first-degree murder in the death of a suburban Chicago man who was renting property from him. Dennis Joyner was convicted of the September 2012 slaying of Robert Forson at a Chicago Heights gas station. And the General Assembly is once again presenting Governor Rauner with a bill that would send his contract dispute with the state's largest union to arbitration. The Senate passed a version of the bill Rauner previously vetoed yesterday because he says it limits his power to bargain. Another veto is expected. Bruins over the Blackhawks 4-2. College hoops in the Big Ten. Maryland topped Illinois. Northwestern a win over Penn State. Cubs suffer a loss in their Cactus opener, while the White Sox were beaten by the Dodgers. The news service of Lead Safe America. 1 in 3 American kids has lead in their blood. No level of lead is safe. Lead poisoning can cause learning disabilities and behavioral disorders. Has your child been tested? Learn more at leadsafeamerica.org. 6:35. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager respectfully disagrees with Donald Trump supporters.
I respect the supporters of Donald Trump. There are a lot of good and thoughtful people who support him. I have more evidence not to support him than you have to support him. I disagree with you fundamentally on his character, on his experience, and on his values. Period.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2, on AM 560. The Answer.
Here Maps. Hit the open road with free offline turn-by-turn guidance that works anywhere. Get it for your phone at here.com/offline.
Ace is a place with the helpful hardware.
My new house is between two lawns that should be on the cover of Lawns Illustrated. I need my lawn to fit in.
I told Sam that during Scott's Days at Ace, he can get the products he needs for a great lawn, like grass seed, fertilizer, and weed killer.
Ace is a place that gives you a magazine cover-worthy lawn. Although Lawns Illustrated is completely made up.
It's Scott's Days at Ace. Stock up and get up to $130 in instant savings on Scott's Miracle-Gro brands, including Ortho and Roundup. Ace Rewards members get savings instantly in store. Offer valid March 2nd through 7th. Store stock only. See participating stores for details.
Platinum is a word reserved for premium products. Hence why you've never seen platinum corn dogs or platinum toothpicks. So you know Pennzoil Platinum is the good stuff. And now Napa's got Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil for just $5.29 a quart. Plus, buy 12 quarts, you get $2 per quart back by mail. For just $5.29 a quart, you'll get premium oil for a corn dog price. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 3/31/16.
6:37, sunrise in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Aiden's inbound, it's 21 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 19. The Kennedy with scattered delays, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. Eisenhower, 34 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 30. Stevenson, 41 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 19 minutes. I-80 to the Verge. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy. Roselle to 53. Traffic is a service of Whole Foods Market. This week at Whole Foods Market, save on fresh asparagus. Just $2.49 per pound through Tuesday. And get organic whole trade bell peppers for just $2.99 per pound. Stock up and save today at Whole Foods Market, America's healthiest grocery store. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Increasing clouds throughout the day, high 38. A little bit of snow during the overnight, coating to an inch, and a low of 31. In Chicago, we have 23 degrees at O'Hare and 27 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and last night, oh, Nelly.
Wow. I didn't think it could get any worse. This is why you shouldn't have 11 debates, because by the 11th debate, you're talking about people's anatomy, and it gets a little raunchy, and sometimes parents had to remove their kids from the room because they couldn't watch it.
We're not going to see his tax returns. We're not going to see that tape that he of his conversation before the New York Times editorial board, but we may see his privates.
I also happen to call him a lightweight, okay, and I have said that, so I would like to take that back. He's really not that much of a lightweight. And as far as, and I have to say this, he hit my hands. Nobody has ever hit my hands. I've never heard of this one. Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it. All right. Okay.
Yeah, drop your pants and prove it. I mean, why don't we just go there, at this point? Oh, to try and elevate, I suppose,
this conversation
and the review of what occurred last night. We're now joined by our friend, broadcasting legend, host of Beyond the Beltway, 10 p.m. to midnight on these airwaves on Sunday nights. He is Bruce Dumont. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. Great to
to talk about politics with you two.
Yeah, and I'll another programming note on Mini Super Tuesday, where Illinois votes as well. March 15th, Tuesday night, Bruce will be anchoring the coverage on these airwaves as the results come in and giving it meaning. So
with Joe Walsh, it's going to be fun.
There you go.
And both calls.
So last night, kind of your general impressions. Do you think that Rubio or Cruz or, for the sake of Ohio, Kasich, advanced their flag any against Trump?
I think, to me, Cruz came across as the winner. I would put Kasich a slight second, but Kasich early on had a couple of good moments, but they didn't go to him enough, and they didn't give enough airtime to explore his opportunities. Again, he's kind of a Johnny one-note on what he did in Ohio, and I understand that because most people still don't know who he is. But I thought that the level of the discussion between Rubio and Trump was such at a lower level. Cruz came after him, but it was at a higher level. And he came across as the smartest guy on the stage, which I think he is. And I would say that Cruz was the winner last night.
And not to go back to that horrific moment when Donald Trump talked about his that he was well endowed. Have you ever seen in your decades of covering, GOP debates and Democratic debates, it become that raunchy?
No, but also I will dare say that it's probably the most replayed piece of last night's broadcast, and Donald Trump knows that. I mean, he knows how to come with sound bites, and I just think that Rubio nipping at his heels now for the second debate in a row, he brought up some very important things. I think Trump University is something that the average person can understand and empathize with. But I still think that the way it's being delivered is much more of a schoolyard battle than the way that Cruz attacks Trump on some of the other related issues that are in albatross around his neck.
And Rubio, I thought, also the way that he tries to prosecute the attacks against Donald Trump, I think fall flat in part because he's living in a glass house, and a number of them, for example, talking about seasonal workers at his compound there, Mar-a-Lago, his club in West Palm Beach. So let me understand this, Marco. You don't like Trump using seasonal workers at Mar-a-Lago through a legal government program, but you would be okay if he employed the people that you wanted to give amnesty to as part of your Gang of Eight bill? So you're attacking Trump on one hand, but you're trying to facilitate the kind of activity that the Donald Trumps of the world do with your legislation in D.C.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right, and I think so much of what Rubio and so much of what Trump was saying last night was really about going after the Florida vote. I mean, it's all about Florida. I mean, everybody knows this is not rocket science now. That if Rubio does not win Florida, he's a cooked goose. He has no credible pathway to anything. Likewise, I think if Kasich can survive in Ohio, I think he's more likely to survive in Ohio than Rubio is in Florida. Then Kasich he's got at least 66 more delegates that he's going to walk into that convention with in his home state. And if this turns out to be an open convention, it's going to be good to be the governor of the state where the convention is being held.
Oh, that's true. Hey, did you like how Chris Wallace and Megyn Kelly, they had, real-time fact-checking queued up when they took Trump to task on certain things about, Trump University and his $500 billion in spending plan?
I liked it, but frankly, I think they failed the test of fairness and balance last night.
Yeah.
I wish they would have done that with all of the candidates. It really, to an observer, it looked like there was a gang up on Trump. All the questions to Trump were based on a premise of a negative premise. But I wish they would have done it with all the candidates, and then it would have looked less like a gang up, and especially with Megyn Kelly, who I like a lot. But again, I think her thoughts about Donald Trump came through in the level in which she pursued her questioning.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the video montage, I think that was sponsored by our principal Super PAC. And frankly, I thought Trump got himself out of some of his kind of conflicting answers on Afghanistan and Syria pretty well.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think at some point there's been so much thrown. I think, by the way, in my view, the day started not as badly as some suggest with Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is the absolutely the perfect foil, and the wrong messenger for a good message. It's a serious message.
Bingo.
But he is the wrong messenger, and I think you said earlier that Scott Walker could be one that could deliver that message. But it's reminding me also of 1964 when Barry Goldwater, who was the anathema of the establishment, was rolling through the country, winning primary after primary, and at the very last moment, they tried to get Governor Bill Scranton of Pennsylvania to stop him at the last moment. I think that's the desperation that we're seeing repeated now in 2016.
Yeah, that didn't work out great for
No, it did
Goldwater in
not.
'64. Bruce Dumont, he is the host of Beyond the Beltway. Catch him Sunday nights on these airwaves, 10 p.m., and you can also catch him for a special edition of coverage March 15th, election night, where he will host the post-election coverage, talk about the returns, take your calls with Joe Walsh. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, folks.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine right now, but we'll have increasing cloudiness later on in the day, a high of 38 degrees. Tonight into tomorrow morning, light snow accumulating a coating to an inch. That's also no big worries. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. A little bit warmer, a high of 42, and things are really going to heat up around here the next 3 days. On Sunday, breezy with times of clouds and sun, 48 degrees. And on Monday and Tuesday, highs in the 60s. Wow. Let's get the travel times. Anything wowing us on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, Amy, so far things are pretty normal on the expressways. A little bit of that lighter Friday thing going on. The Edens, just 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedy, 26 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower is 41 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 32 minutes. The Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. On the Tri-State Tollway southbound, it's slow. Washington to 21. There's a car fire blocking 2 left lanes. Northbound delays are from the Stevenson to 31st. It is really slow there. Then heavy as usual from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial southbound stop and go 290 to Army Trail with a crash reported. Then at Ogden, there's a crash blocking 2 right lanes. We still have a closure in Antioch of Grass Lake Road north of Deep Lake Road for investigation into an earlier fire. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. All eyes on Washington for today's jobs report. A boycott at Wendy's, but for only 10 days. And there's good news and bad news on Maine lobsters. Those stories next.
Tax problems? They only get worse if you don't do anything. Are you an individual or business that owes at least $10,000 in back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns? Don't risk garnishments or levies on your wages, bank accounts, or accounts receivable. Call Rapid Resolution Tax Group now. They're Better Business Bureau A+ rated and accredited. Tax attorneys, enrolled agents, tax professionals, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. No tax problem is too big. They've helped many people just like you with their tax problems. Pick up the phone and call 800-601-2929 now. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can settle your tax debt for less, remove penalties and fees, stop garnishments and levies. You may even qualify for the IRS Fresh Start Initiative. You do have rights as an American. Don't let your tax problems get worse. Call Rapid Resolution Tax Group for a free consultation at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. Call now.
Investors today watching the jobs report for signs of health in the U.S. labor market. Non-farm payrolls are among the Fed's considerations when deciding whether to raise short-term interest rates. And a Florida-based farm workers coalition says it's begun a 10-day boycott of Wendy's fast food chain. The group wants Wendy's to pay a penny per pound fee for its tomatoes to supplement farm worker wages. Scientists are predicting Maine's lobster catch will peak early this year, meaning an abundance of cheap lobster for consumers, but that's bad news for the state's lobster industry. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission says a 3-day December shutdown of New York's Indian Point reactor was caused by bird droppings. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
You are a sign business, you want to grow, and you want to make more money. So do I. I want to partner with you. This is Dave Carlson, and my sign company is Franco Carlson & Company. We've been doing business in Chicago since 1894. With millions of dollars of state-of-the-art equipment, we can do any job. Trade shows, bus and vehicle wraps, banners for special events, even custom wallpaper. We can help you expand your sign business. If there is an order, any order, or a piece of business that you don't have the capabilities to do yourself, we can do it with you. You don't have to turn away any sign or print business any longer. Speed and quality to meet your deadlines. You have my word on that. Expand your sign business. Take any order. Make more money. Become a partner with Franco Carlson & Company. Contact me for a quote or stop by for a tour of our shop. Franco Carlson & Company. We are the sign company's partner.
Call Franco Carlson & Company at 773-847-6900. 773-847-6900.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-1502. That's 1-800-663-1502. 1-800-663-1502.
Joe Walsh here. The debate coverage will have it all when freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, so some breaking news. The hits keep on coming for Brazil. The former president, Luiz da Silva, in police custody as part of an investigation into a graft scheme involving Brazil's national oil company, Petrobras. So,
he won't be there for opening ceremonies.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are going to be there for opening ceremonies between the Zika virus and the dysfunction of Brazil, but
they could have chosen Chicago, Dan.
Yeah, thank goodness they didn't. Speaking of dysfunction, yesterday in the debate, the issue of veterans came up. Donald Trump has brought this up fairly routinely. We're going to treat our veterans better. Usually, it pertains to the scandal involving the kind of health care that is received or not received by veterans at the VA. But there's also this issue of veterans' homelessness, and we're now joined by the mayor of Rockford, Larry Morrissey. Rockford, second largest city in the state of Illinois, has initiated a real effort to deal with homeless vets in that city. And what are they doing that other communities should follow? Larry Morrissey joins us now. Mayor, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning. It's great to be on the show.
So what's the plan in Rockford? What's the progress in Rockford on this issue of homeless veterans that maybe is a model for other communities to follow?
Well, in December of 2015, we were identified as the first city in the nation to reach what's known as functional zero, ending veterans' homelessness in our community, something of which we're very proud. And it's been an incredible ride, I guess, since we took the challenge early in 2015 after President Obama's wife, Michelle Obama, made the challenge in 2014 in a team that we were working with from the White House, the Strong Cities, Strong Communities team, helped provide some training, some guidance. We worked with the Region 5 office of HUD, and we were able to accomplish a lot, and we're very proud of the efforts of our community to get the job done.
But how do you get them off the streets? I mean, I've confronted many homeless people who just don't want help, and they like the freedom of doing what they want when they want.
You know, that's a big part of the challenge, and I'll tell you, when I first heard about the challenge, I was very skeptical. I've seen a lot of programs come and go. I've been in office since 2005, and before I would make such a bold public statement that we were going to end veterans' homelessness, I had to do a little digging and also just, I guess, take a little bit of on faith. But that was the really first and most important thing. We made the commitment to the challenge. Then we took a team, including myself and some of our leadership teams from the City of Rockford Human Services Department, went to the training in Chicago, and that really opened my eyes when I heard about the city of New Orleans reaching the first goal of matching the Michelle Obama's challenge, I thought we could do it too. There's no reason if New Orleans can do it, we can do it.
But specifically, especially the homeless veterans population, when you may be dealing with PTSD, people who are suffering from PTSD, what specifically did you do on the ground in Rockford that addressed this?
So there's several key steps. The first is we took a housing first philosophy, which means you're to help someone get off the street into permanent supportive housing even before they might be clean, dry, and sober. That's a change in philosophy because a lot of shelters before and even many still won't let you stay in a sort of a permanent housing if you're not ready to be clean and sober. And so what we found and what research has found is you have a better chance of becoming clean and sober when you're not out in the cold self-medicating. That was the first step. And then next we began a common intake. So we have a lot of people trying to help the homeless. All of our local partners agreed on a common intake strategy. So as one entity, the city of Rockford, that would be the first point of entry into the system. And from there, we made the entire effort very personal. Every single homeless veteran that was identified, that meant we had workers out going into the streets, finding the people who might be under a bridge, sleeping on a park bench, getting the names, working with the VA to get names, and then ultimately working that list every month. Really, it comes down to core management. We ended up housing about 85 homeless vets and got them into permanent housing last year. And we did so by knowing their names, knowing where they are, and then being able to reach out to them. Yeah, the first time you talk to them, they may not want to come in, but we worked with our partners in mental health, and ultimately the outreach workers did a phenomenal job at getting them identified, bringing them in. And it doesn't mean that we won't ever have a homeless person who's a vet in Rockford. What it means is by reaching functional zero, we've been able to prove our ability to rehouse them if they become homeless within a 30-day period.
All right, Mayor Larry Morrissey, Mayor of Rockford, congratulations on your success with homeless vets, and thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and there's some great lessons for the nation. We're very proud that we were able to do it here first in Rockford.
All right, thanks. He joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The following is a paid political announcement.
We begin with the scandal for the IRS. Medicare fraud has become one of, if not the most profitable crimes in America.
Whew. Washington's a mess.
Boy, sure is.
Nobody's doing anything about it.
Yeah, maybe your representative's not, but my congressman's actually getting some results.
Who?
Peter Roskam. He's led investigations into the IRS scandals.
Really?
Yeah, even passed a law to stop the abuses.
Oh, yeah. I saw something on Fox where they called Roskam the man leading the charge.
Yeah, he's actually forcing some accountability.
It's about time somebody did.
Make a right at the light?
Okay.
Anyway, Roskam's great on Medicare, too. Yeah, he's got a solution to stop the fraud.
Huh. That could save us some money.
Sure would. It's an easy decision on March 15th. I'm voting for conservative Peter Roskam. He's actually getting things done.
Paid for by Roskam for Congress Committee.
I'm Peter Roskam, candidate for Congress, and I approve this advertisement.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure, losing the family home? You'd be not alone. See, people, we are in the aftermath of what is being revealed to have been the greatest financial crime spree in history, perpetrated by the Wall Street investment banks smuggling and packaging mortgages, and continuing this day by the mortgage servicers that service the mortgages. I'm Lou Bridges. I have a law firm I put together. We defend foreclosure actions. We help people do strategic defaults, short sales, and modifications that include restructuring. Call us for a free consultation. We'll tell you what to look for in hiring a foreclosure defense attorney. We'll tell you some of your options. We'll give you a free consultation. But whatever you do, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Call 224-513-1231 or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's 224-513-1231 or FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense law firm.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Is Donald Trump right? The U.S. military will just do whatever he says. We'll answer that question at 7:07.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, a man charged in a deadly high-rise shooting. And the Bruins doubled up the Blackhawks last night. Clouds on the increase later today. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony.
I think this will all eventually work out, and there will be a consolidation behind someone not named Donald Trump.
That's the morning after another testy Republican debate.
The real con artist is Senator Marco Rubio.
Trump also got into it with Ted Cruz.
You're the liar. You're the lying guy up here. You're the one. You're the one.
And on it went with John Kasich on the sidelines. Fox's Jared Halpern was there, now live in Detroit.
From the start, unconventional back and forth.
He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee.
Talk of body parts, and there was name-calling at the latest Fox News debate.
You asked him about the economy, and the first thing he does is launch an attack about some little guy thing, because he doesn't have answers.
Senators Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz.
Count to 10, Donald. Count to 10. Count to 10.
Renewing attacks on Donald Trump, who returned fire, staying noticeably out of the fray, Ohio Governor John Kasich.
We can begin to reignite the spirit of the United States of America, and let's stop fighting.
All four Republicans pledging again to support whoever wins the nomination. Dave.
Jed, Republicans in Kansas and Kentucky, Louisiana, and Maine vote tomorrow. 155 delegates at stake. North Korea's leader has put his military on alert to be ready to launch nuclear strikes at any time. This after new UN sanctions put on the North. A white Alabama cop charged with murder in the shooting of a black man last month is fighting back. His lawyers accusing Montgomery officials of acting politically.
We believe that these charges were brought to prevent public unrest.
Mickey McDermott claims Officer Aaron Smith opened fire after a man acting suspiciously got a weapon and confronted him. Gregory Gunn's family disputes that. A medical examiner's report's just out from Atlanta on Bobby Christina Brown. Whitney Houston's daughter was found unresponsive in a tub in January of last year, then died in July. The report says her face being underwater and intoxication led to her death. Alcohol, marijuana, sedatives found in her body. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
In Chicago this morning, we have sunshine and 25 degrees. 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Experts want to know what's making people sick in southern Wisconsin. They know where it's coming from. They just don't know how right now, as health officials are looking into an outbreak of what they're calling Elizabethingia that's left 18 dead and more than 40 others sick. CDC is helping look for the source of that bacterial infection. They're testing water as well as skincare products. A man is facing murder charges following a deadly shooting at a near West Side high-rise. Police say Reggie Daniels shot and killed Darren Joss Wednesday night inside the 8th floor gym in a building in the 500 block of West Kinsey. Staff members at the Chicago Public Schools will be taking 3 furlough days in an effort to cut costs, about $30 million, according to CPS CEO Forrest Claypool. CTU Vice President Jesse Sharkey says it is disrespectful to union members.
If the board wants to avoid a strike, they're doing exactly the wrong set of things by attacking our pay and treating us with disrespect. This increases the likelihood that there's going to be a work stoppage on April 1st.
The General Assembly is once again presenting Governor Rauner with a bill that would send his contract dispute with the state's largest union to simple arbitration. The Senate passed a new version of the bill Rauner previously vetoed because he says it limits his power to bargain. A new version has already passed the House, so Rauner will have a chance to sign or veto it. Another veto is expected, and while the Senate vote is enough to override a veto, the House is not. Boston beat the Blackhawks 4-2 last night. College hoops, we're starting to get ready for the tournament as the Big Ten's regular season begins to wind up. Maryland crushing Illinois. Northwestern a win over Penn State by 10. And the women's tournament is already underway. In a big upset in Indianapolis, Northwestern topped Minnesota 84-74. The news service of Jewel Osco. Don't miss Jewel's 3-day sale. Save big on Del Monte bananas, 29 cents a pound. 1 dozen Eggland's Best Eggs, and get another free, limit 4. And they've sliced the price on Jewel white or wheat bread, 16-ounce loaf, just 99 cents, limit 4. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. upstream-ideas.com.
This is Pete. I've had 3 missing teeth and have been thinking for a while about getting something done to get them replaced. I went to Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics to see what they could do, and I'm glad that I did that. The staff there was fantastic. Dr. Neruzzi made sure I was comfortable during the entire process, always checking to make sure there was no pain. All my visits were very pleasant, and I'm glad I had it done. Another piece that made it fantastic was they worked with me on the payment. As all of us know, these are not inexpensive items to do, so they worked with me on the payment options as well as with my insurance carrier to help minimize my out-of-pocket cost. I feel so much better now that I've had my teeth and my dental implants put in. I feel more confident as I'm walking around. For those of you out there that are missing teeth and thinking about doing this, I would recommend you see Dr. Neruzzi and his staff. They're great, and I would highly recommend them going forward.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
7:07 in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. The latest this morning with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Hanover Park, Barrington Road is closed at Irving Park now due to a crash. Antioch Grass Lake Road shut down north of Deep Lake Road after an earlier fire. Eden's inbound, 23 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. The Kennedy is 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 27. Inbound Eisenhower now, 49 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound it's 32. Stevenson really gotten heavy, mainly from Harlem to Kedzie. 54 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound bottled up from 132 to 21. 2 left lanes are blocked due to a car fire. Northbound, very slow from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway stop and go Barrington at 53. Veterans Royal southbound, slow 290 to Army Trail with a crash in the left lane. Northbound, slow North Avenue to Army Trail. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. AirComfort.com, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Increasing cloudiness today with a high of 38. Then tonight, a little snow accumulating a coating to an inch with a low of 31. Tomorrow, a couple of flurries in the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy with a high 42. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Clouds and sunshine right now, 22 at O'Hare, 25 along Chicago's lakefront and at Midway. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
And let me put it very plainly. If we Republicans choose Donald Trump as our nominee, the prospects for a safe and prosperous future are greatly diminished.
If he would have run
And even if he would have won, it would have been bad. He doesn't have what it takes to be president, that I can tell you. He doesn't have what it takes to be president.
Let me say something. This campaign for the last year, Donald Trump has basically mocked everybody with personal attacks. He's done so to people that are sitting on the stage today. He's done so about people that are disabled. He's done it about every other candidate in this race. Anyone who's ever deserved to be attacked that way, it's been Donald Trump, for the way he's treated people.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning. What up, Dan and Amy? So Motown Madness last night, and that was preceded by a Mitt Romney speech in Utah. I mean, it was quite a wild day on the campaign trail, and
unprecedented. And I'm still shaking my head.
And so, I mean, a couple of questions before we get into it. One, I mean, just an observation. That crowd in Motown last night?
Yeah, at the Fox Theater. I love that theater. I've been there, Dan.
That crowd made a Philadelphia Eagles crowd look positively docile by comparison. I mean, that was a raucous, rambunctious crowd with the heckling and... Yeah. That was quite something. Question, and Bruce Dumont, we talked to last hour, kind of brought this up. Fox News Channel, do you think they conducted themselves in a fair manner? Donald Trump was the only candidate who got the video montage of conflicting statements he made on Syria and Afghanistan, Iraq.
And they also brought out graphics and then got them and, you know, had everything that they could know possible about Trump University and the alleged victims during his civil suit. I mean, it went on and on and on. Compared to, you know, they didn't have the same attack on the other candidates.
Yeah, so was that fair? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. I mean, they could have asked John Kasich about his time at Lehman Brothers, for example, but they
And shown a graphic of, you know, how much money was lost and gained.
Yeah, of Lehman Brothers falling off the side of a cliff. Yeah. But here's how the debate started. Marco Rubio saying, picking up, frankly, where Mitt Romney left off, saying we're not turning the conservative movement over to Donald Trump.
We are not going to turn over the conservative movement or the party of Lincoln or Reagan, for example, to someone whose positions are not conservative, to someone who last week defended Planned Parenthood for 30 seconds on a debate stage, to someone, for example, that has no ideas on foreign, someone who thinks the nuclear triad is a rock band from the 1980s. Oh, yeah. America is great because of the conservative principles of limited government and free enterprise and our strong national defense. And our nominee needs to be someone that stands by those things. All right. Donald has not demonstrated that.
Go ahead.
I got to say, Nuclear Triad is a good band name.
It is.
And if it was a band, you know who would be their opening act?
Who?
Hugh Hewitt. He loves the Nuclear Triad. He likes to obsess about the Nuclear Triad. So it went from there, though. It devolved quickly. This perhaps the most...
People have new names.
Yes, they do. And this was the most screechy, cacophonous moment of the night.
I have a policy question for you, sir.
Let's see if he answers it.
I will. Don't worry about it, Marco. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, little Marco. I will.
All right, well, let's hear Big Don. Donald.
Don't worry about it, Don't worry about it, little Marco.
Gentlemen, gentlemen.
You ought to show up.
Gentlemen, you got to do better than this.
This guy has the number one.
Mr. Trump, may I ask you, Mr. Trump, I'd like to ask you a policy question. Your proposed tax cut.
That's why the people in Florida do not like him.
Mr. Trump, your proposed tax cut.
This is third grade theatrics.
I was waiting for somebody to get hit with a folding chair.
Really? I was expecting for somebody to get yanked off stage or the gong to come out.
Point of order, Marco Rubio does not have the worst absentee record in the U.S. Senate. You know who does?
Barack Obama.
No.
Oh, no?
No, I mean presently.
Oh, presently?
Bernie Sanders actually has missed the most votes.
That's right. That guy. I forgot.
Rubio's not far behind, but it's actually Bernie Sanders. But the
moment of the night, Dan.
Well, wait a second. Big Donald and Little Marco.
Yes.
That's not a bad band name either.
Oh, you're right.
You know?
But for me as a mom who had two boys in the room, this was horrifying for me, embarrassing. Donald Trump was responding to Marco Rubio, who said he had little hands. And at first, he actually extended an olive branch to Marco Rubio, you know, kind of apologizing for Donald Trump's bad behavior. But then it took a strange, crazy turn.
I also happen to call him a lightweight, okay, and I have said that, so I would like to take that back. He's really not that much of a lightweight. And as far as, and I have to say this, he hit my hands. Nobody has ever hit my hands. I've never heard of this one. Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee it. All right. Okay.
I mean, don't you think Ronald Reagan was rolling in his grave when he heard that last night?
I don't think he was listening. I think he had better things to do in heaven.
Comments like that, I don't need to know about that Donald Trump is well endowed, and I don't need to explain to my kids because they were wondering, Mom, what's the deal with the hands? What does it mean? What does it mean? Tell me. And then the New York Post, the front page today is a picture of Donald Trump with his hands up, and the caption says, "Size matters."
Yeah, well, I always wanted the answer to that question, so now I have it.
There you go.
Yeah,
you watched the GOP debate.
It was enlightening for me.
I was embarrassed.
I thought a nice moment. I mean, and not to also get your impressions in terms of who you thought advanced their flag the most in terms of actually winning the upcoming elections, which remembers the point.
That's the focus. I was trying to learn, but there was all these distractions.
I thought Ted Cruz opened the debate fairly strong, and I thought he presented. And I know people may not like him stylistically, and I understand the issues with that. But I thought he presented the most clear, room temperature, cogent arguments, particularly when he was prosecuting lines of attack against Trump like he did really at the outset.
I understand the folks who are supporting Donald right now. You're angry. You're angry at Washington, and he uses angry rhetoric. But for 40 years, Donald has been part of the corruption in Washington that you're angry about. And you're not going to stop the corruption in Washington by supporting someone who has supported liberal Democrats for 4 decades, from Jimmy Carter to John Kerry to Hillary Clinton. You're not going to stop the corruption and the cronyism by supporting someone who has used government power for private gain. Instead, we need a president who stands with the American people.
I mean, I thought the direct appeal to Trump supporters, or even those maybe leaning to Trump, is kind of to try and blunt the impact of the bandwagoning effect. I thought that was a good move by Cruz. I don't know if it will work, but I thought that was a proper tack to take. Let's get some reactions here. Oh, Tom on the South Side.
Yeah, I wasn't going so much Trump, but after last night, Trump all the way. I was leaning Cruz. It was a lynching. Fox could have brought up Lehman Brothers for Kasich, just as Gingrich was part of Fannie. The establishment they've gone too far. He's the leading guy, and they're all attacking him. All the elders of the party that gave us McCain, Dole, the Dolt, and Mitt Romney, who was afraid to debate after the first debate. He was schmitted, just as McCain was. Oh, you don't want to piss off the people that are never going to vote for you. I don't understand it, and I'm mad as hell.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tom. I understand it. By the way, since he brought up Dole, it reminds me of Bob Dole with a D, not an E, a congressman from the North Shore. He said yesterday, Daily Herald story, that he will not support Trump if he's the nominee. So this ongoing...
This growing chorus of people opposing Trump.
Well, it's a split, but it's going to be very interesting to see how Trump may impact down-ballot races, because remember, Republicans are going to have a fight on their hands to maintain control of the Senate, to a lesser extent the House. But if it's a catastrophic event, which I don't necessarily think it will be, but if it is, then control of Congress is at stake as well.
Mm-hmm. And last night, what I loved, all candidates pledged in that they will back whoever the GOP nominee is.
Yeah. That's kind of pro forma.
Really?
I wasn't surprised by that. Jane in Burr Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. Yeah, it was incredible. It was terrible. And I always think the most noble thing you can do in life is to employ people. And Donald Trump has done that. What other guy up there on the stage has done that? They're lawyers and politicians. Lawyers produce nothing. Politicians have figured out how to get themselves elected. And as Ronald Reagan used to say, politics is the second oldest profession in the world, and it's a lot like the first one. I mean, Donald Trump may not be a perfect person. I think there's only been one of those. But he has created businesses. He has created jobs. He has dealt with those dirty politicians. And here's the other thing: when Roosevelt wanted to clean up the Securities and Exchange, with the stock trading and all of that, who did he go to? He went to the biggest cheater of all, Joseph T. Kennedy.
Yeah.
And he put him in charge of it because he knew where all the cheating was going to be because he'd done it all. So
yeah, and then he let his Cutty Sark be run through the speakeasies too. But Jay, let me ask you a question though. Is there anything that was raised in last night's debate, Trump University, anything else that troubles you at all?
nothing, except I was troubled by how they treated him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to
Thanks,
have real-time facts checks queued up and ready to go and graphics, and I don't know. It was a little too unfair because they, poised and fancied themselves as being fair and balanced.
I mean, but, one thing, though, understand, if you're the front runner, you're going to take on more attacks than the others. I mean, that's just the nature of the race.
From the opponents rather than from the moderators, so?
Well, there's going to be more questions directed your way. That makes some sense to me, but did Fox tip the scales a little bit too far? Perhaps. Steve in Uptown, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. I think they were fair with Trump and doing the fact checks. If you remember, Fox did that with all the other candidates in the previous debate, which happened to be the same debate Donald Trump sat out. He was the only one they didn't do that with. So for them to do that only with him this time around, I think is very fair, and I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I'm a Cruz supporter.
Okay.
But if Trump is the nominee, I will support him, and I think anyone who doesn't, they're just going to turn the White House over to Hillary Clinton, and that's foolish.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Steve.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Your takeaway from last night's Republican debate, your phone calls coming up. Grab a line, 312-642-5600. Oh, what's the text?
Text from 847, you can't get Melania with small hands.
Oh, nice. I like it. And you're going to like this weather forecast. Sunshine right now, but it will become cloudy by the afternoon, a high of 38 degrees. Tonight into tomorrow, a light dusting of snow, no big deal. A high Saturday of 42 degrees. And for Sunday's Chicago Polar Plunge, which I'm raising money for our friend Jake. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, a few high clouds, and warmer, a high of 48 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Hanover Park, Barrington Road is closed at Irving Park due to a crash. Antioch, there is a closure of Grass Lake Road north of Deep Lake Road after an early morning fire. Edens, 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Kennedys, now 41 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. Eisenhower, 54 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 32. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. And the Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, we have delays from 132 to 21 after a car fire on the left side. Northbound, very slow from 83rd to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway jammed, Bartlett Road to 53. Veterans Memorial southbound, slow from around Thorndale to Army Trail. There's a crash there. And on the northbound side, it's heavy St. Charles to Army Trail. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
The Big Home and Garden Expo that Bob Vila promotes is coming to the Tinley Park Convention Center this weekend, March 5th and 6th. If you're looking to remodel your kitchen, bathroom, basement, or maybe get a new roof, flooring, windows, or a new deck, then this is the event for you. At this two-day expo, you'll meet local and national contractors displaying their products and services. Get fresh ideas, set up estimates, and talk directly with contractors, many of which are offering huge discounts. Enhance your landscaping and beautify your yard with Ted's Greenhouse, offering a wide variety of the finest plants in the area. Find everything you need for your home under one roof. Special announcement. Design expert Kelly Edwards of HGTV's Design on a Dime will be presenting both days, this Saturday and Sunday, March 5th and 6th, from 12 to 1 p.m., and giving away cash and prizes. Don't miss the Big Home and Garden Expo this weekend, March 5th and 6th at Tinley Park Convention Center. For more information, please visit homeshowevent.com. That's homeshowevent.com.
Hi there, it's me, Lou Manfredini. When I give home improvement advice, I take it seriously because it affects the value of your home. So I only recommend quality products. To replace drafty old windows and patio doors that stick, there's Marvin Windows and Doors. They're built around you. You know, every Marvin window and door is made to order using the finest materials and craftsmanship. There's value in that. Get more styles and options. Increase your home's curb appeal. Bring the outdoors in. And Marvin Windows and Doors are energy efficient to help lower your heating and cooling bills. In fact, they have over 150,000 window and door products that are Energy Star certified. For serious advice on how Marvin Windows and Doors can work for your remodeling or replacement project, contact your local Marvin retailer.
Midwest Siding at 847-979-8230 for quality Marvin windows and doors. Or visit them online at MidwestSiding.com. Call them about your project today. 847-979-8230.
Congratulations to all who took the Balance of Nature New Year's Challenge. Success stories are pouring in. So many people have been helped through this incentive that I have asked Balance of Nature to continue this challenge for as long as possible.
I do feel slightly better. I can't explain it. It's like underlying. I can't explain it. I broke my leg twice, my left leg, and it used to bother me, but now it's not bothering me that much. I mean, I also bowl on Friday nights, and it used to kill me, but now I find that I could do that and without being in any discomfort.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy are talking about last night's debate. Let's go to the phones and Joe in Oak Forest.
Well, the Romans had their games, and we got Maurice and Jerry Springer. You are the president. Everybody's happy with that.
Bread and circuses. Thanks for the call, Joe. Dan at O'Hare. Hey, Dan.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello, how you doing? Hey, after yesterday with Mitt Romney coming out, and then seeing Marco and Cruz last night not going after each other and ganging up on Trump, there's movement behind the scenes. I was going to vote for Cruz. Now I'm going for Trump. The establishment is just trying to take this over, and I don't like it. Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Dan.
Wow.
I told you. I knew that was going to be some of the reaction. Not all of it, but
I'm
some of it.
dying inside. I'm dying.
Chip in Batavia.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to sound a lot like the guy just before me. I saw Mitt Romney yesterday. I've never seen Mitt Romney act like that. I've never seen that kind of anger from such a. He attacked Donald Trump yesterday more than he ever attacked Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Whose side is this guy on? It shows the problem with the Republican Party. They're Democrat Party light. They still don't get it. When do they start representing the people instead of representing the donor class?
Thanks for the call,
Both
Chip.
sides do that.
Kevin in Wheaton. Wheaton, lovely Wheaton.
Yeah, lovely Wheaton.
Yes.
So if everybody loves bombastic statements, so how's this?
Uh-oh.
If your station doesn't spend the entire day talking about how great Kasich is, you should be put in jail for you should be put in jail as traitors, because he's the only lucid candidate on the stage. And I can't I understand why Ron Paul wouldn't get attention, but I don't get why Kasich doesn't get attention. He's brilliant.
Thanks for the call, Kevin.
Because part of his campaign strategy is he does not fight back. He's not going to get involved in any rhetorical scrums, and he didn't last night either.
I thought Kasich had a good night. I thought he separated himself from the other three fairly well. I don't know if it'll redound to his benefit in Ohio, but he gave very good answers on education reform, including a dissertation on school choice. He gave a very good rundown of the complicated national security picture, at least with respect to the half of the world, the Middle East and North Africa, that he was able to get through. I thought he did have a good night. Bob in Frankfurt.
Yeah, hi, Dan. I'm 65 years old. I voted in every presidential and midterm election I've ever been able to. First guy I voted for was Richard Nixon. Gives you some idea.
How'd that
Incidentally,
Too soon,
it worked out fine.
man, really. Don't bring it up.
Incidentally, you got 3 votes out of my household.
Oh, thank you.
when
My
ran.
3 votes from Frankfurt. Thank you.
You bet. I've already voted. I mailed in my ballot for Cruz. If Trump is the nominee, this will be the first time I'll stay home.
Mm-hmm.
I can't vote for the guy. I'm not in good conscience.
Thanks for the call, Bob, and that's some of the reaction you're getting as well.
Too soon. This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Winter weather is here, and this season's roller coaster ride and temperatures can be especially taxing on your business's mechanical HVAC system. That's why it's important to schedule a comprehensive review of your system today with Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For more than 80 years, Air Comfort has maintained hundreds of businesses' HVAC systems throughout Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. Why do they trust their mechanical systems to Air Comfort? It's simple. Because they understand that Air Comfort has the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as an MSCA Star Contractor, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a large service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900, or online at aircomfort.com.
Turnkey IT is a name you've come to know and trust at AM 560. Turnkey IT provides small businesses with IT resources that are normally reserved for Fortune 500 companies. They provide world-class network installations and ongoing IT support for fixed monthly rates based on the size of your network. Turnkey IT is a program that fits the needs of your business. Turnkey IT understands that your business matters, and keeping you focused on it makes all the difference in the world. And best of all, their service can save you time and money. Turnkey IT can give you the peace of mind that backups are being executed, email is always available, files are secure, and you've got someone to call when you need help. Turnkey IT has people who are professional, friendly, on time, and a live person even answers the phone 24 hours a day. So visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Bill Gertz will be here.
Yeah, what to do with a lunatic who has nukes. No, not Trump, Kim Jong-un. That's 7:37.
But first into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Clouds and sun, 23 degrees. Republican presidential candidates Donald Trump and Marco Rubio at it again last night.
This little guy has lied so much about my record.
There we go. The person.
He has lied so much about my record.
During a GOP debate in Detroit, Rubio challenged the frontrunner's business record. Meantime, Republican presidential contenders vow to back the eventual GOP nominee, even if it is Donald Trump, even John Kasich.
So if he ends up as the nominee, sometimes he makes it a little bit hard, but, I will support whoever is the Republican nominee for president.
Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz agreed. Republican presidential candidate Ben Carson expected to have more to say about his political future later today when he speaks out at the Conservative Political Action Conference. A retirement home for the elderly in southern Yemen was turned into a place of slaughter today. An attack by ISIS killed 16, including 4 Indian nuns. Officials say the gunmen raided the home, then separated the nuns from the others and shot and killed them. With sanctions lifted as part of the Iran nuclear deal, Tehran may soon buy American. Iranian state television reporting the Republic has invited Boeing to Tehran to negotiate a possible aircraft purchase just after that country signed a major deal with its rival Airbus. SpaceX tries again tonight to launch a Falcon 9 rocket and put a communications satellite into orbit. A launch window coming up at Cape Canaveral around 5:35 Chicago time. Experts know what it is that's making people sick in southern Wisconsin. They just don't know where it's coming from over the past couple of months. Health officials are looking into an outbreak of Elizabeth Kenya that left 18 dead and more than 40 others sick. A man faces murder charges this morning following a deadly shooting at a near West Side high-rise. Reggie Daniels shot and killed Darren Joss Wednesday night. Daniel fled the scene and turned himself in yesterday. 3 people are recovering following a fiery crash near Deerfield. State police say a semi crashed into 2 vehicles yesterday after one of them lost control. Lanes were shut down for nearly 5 hours. Bruins over the Blackhawks 4-2. College hoops in the Big Ten. Maryland topped Illinois. Northwestern by 10 over Penn State. Cubs lost to the Brewers in the Cactus opener while the White Sox were beaten by the Dodgers. The news, a service of Unbound right now. There is a girl in India who dreams bigger than her village. There's an elder in Guatemala who dreams of life of greater dignity and less loneliness. You can help. Begin the change at unbound.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager gives an overview of the shift in American politics.
There is really no symmetry. There's no mirror image here. To a large extent, the Republicans have essentially the view of the world that John F. Kennedy had, who was a liberal Democrat. And now a man who was a lifelong socialist may get the nomination, or at least is extremely popular among Democrats.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Here Maps, the app that turns your phone into a car navigation system with offline maps and turn-by-turn guidance. Get it now at here.com/guide.
Fact, more than 30,000 students have gone to college using College Illinois prepaid tuition benefits. Lock in future tuition at today's plan rates so your child can join the growing number of College Illinois success stories. Enroll today at collegeillinois.org.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
7:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. Let's get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens Expressway has inbound delays from Peterson to the junction.
Can you imagine these people, these animals over in the
Cumberland to the Burn Circle, 44 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30, the Eisenhower, an hour from Thorndale to downtown, 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 36 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's clear. Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, Slow Irving Park to Fullerton. Tri-State southbound, stop and go 132 to 21 after a car fire. Northbound bottled up from 83rd to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway jammed. Bartlett Road to 53. Veterans Royal southbound slow Thorndale to Army Trail after a crash. Northbound till 75th to the Reagan Tollway and St. Charles to Army Trail. Traffic is a service of Subway. Try the Subway Simple 6 menu. 6 meals, $6 each, including a 6-inch sub like tuna, chips, and 21-ounce drink. Prices and participation may vary. Additional charge for extras, including deluxe subs, plus applicable tax. See stores for menu selections. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim is in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center, and Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Clouds on the increase throughout the day, high 38. Coating to an inch of snow overnight, low 31. Sunshine and 22 right now. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the New American Funding Show, walking you through stress-free mortgage options. Sunday afternoons at 1 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so last night's debate, after we got through the food fight portion of the debate in the beginning.
And the sex education class.
Well,
because you know what that means. And now everyone's going to be staring at every man's hands, wondering what's going on.
I just want my president to be anatomically correct, so that's good news. By the way, this in yesterday, too. This did not make it to the debate, but it is worth noting. I like Ted Cruz. I think he's very conservative and a great constitutionalist and a very articulate man. I haven't endorsed him or anything, but I like that.
Says, who's this coming from?
This is Caitlyn Jenner.
Oh, that's right. That was my story. I saw that and I thought, you know what? Dan Proft and Caitlyn Jenner
just a couple
have something in common.
Dan Proft, Caitlyn Jenner sitting in a tree, just a couple of Cruz supporters.
Maybe you guys can go to the convention together.
We're not going to be KISSING, I'll tell you that. But
go shopping, maybe.
Jenner went on to say, but he's probably one of the worst when it comes to trans issues. Wouldn't it be great? Let's say he goes on to be president. And I have all my girls on a trans issues board to advise him on making decisions when it comes to trans issues. The interviewer and advocate Thanks for letting me borrow your copy.
Yeah.
You're going to be Ted Cruz's trans ambassador? Yes, trans ambassador to the President of the United States, Caitlyn Jenner.
And the good news is the Ted Cruz camp has not responded. Because, I mean, if you were in charge of his campaign or advisor, would you tell him to respond to that? That you're getting an endorsement from Caitlyn Jenner?
No, I'd probably let that.
Yeah,
let
but
that
just
pass.
let that go. We have other pressing issues.
But in addition to that pressing issue of where Caitlyn Jenner comes down in this race, when they actually got to national security issues, there was a moment that I think is important to discuss. And the moment is Donald Trump essentially saying, as it pertains to the question of torture, the military will do what I tell them to do. They just will.
Can you imagine these people, these animals over in the Middle East that chop off heads, sitting around talking and seeing that we're having a hard problem with waterboarding? We should go for waterboarding, and we should go tougher than waterboarding.
But targeting terrorist families?
And I'm a leader. I've always been a leader. I've never had any problem leading people. If I say do it, they're going to do it. That's what leadership is all about.
Sounds like a little bit of a dictator.
Well, here's the thing. I
hate to use the D word.
I suspect, and by the way, I'm interested to hear from those who serve or have served in the military on this topic, but I suspect that members of the U.S. military are more familiar with the inadequacy of the Nuremberg defense than is Donald Trump. I was just following orders. Does not absolve you of war crimes. And Donald Trump, waterboarding, that's a discussion. When he's talking about execution of extended family, this is not an episode of 24. But for more on this and get an expert opinion on this show, not just mine, Bill Gertz, national security columnist for the Washington Times, joins us now. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Hi, good morning. Good to be on the show.
So what about that? What about Donald Trump's declaration that the military will do what I tell them to do, period, the end?
Yeah, it's like there's a thing called U.S. law and military law. So if it's done within military law and U.S. law, then he can order it. But if it's not, I think there's going to be a problem on doing that.
Yeah, that was a qualification that was not forthcoming from Trump. So perhaps he might want to review even the recent past, for whether it's My Lai or Abu Ghraib, other examples where violations of U.S. law, military uniform code of justice, international law, those are treated seriously.
Yes, absolutely. They have to follow it. The military's been trained to do that. They would not follow an unlawful order.
Now, when it comes to matters of national security, which you are an expert on, what GOP candidate do you feel safe with or comfortable with?
Well, I think on national security issues, both Cruz and Rubio are pretty good. Don't really have a good handle on where Donald Trump is coming down on national security. Like I say, it's been a lot of bluster and political talk, but basically. I like Cruz a lot. I think he has a good sense for this. Again, Rubio has kind of touted his credentials as a national security expert. We've got huge problems in the world. I mean, from Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. I mean, this is it hasn't really been prominent in the campaign so far. It probably will be in the general election, but we've got to deal with those problems. Although politicians always look at the pocketbook issues and bread and butter issues, which really dominate campaigns usually.
Well, one of those problems is North Korea, and it was brought up last night because there was news that broke just before the debate that North Korean's crazy little dictator Kim Jong-un ordered nuclear weapons to be readied for use, according to the state-controlled Korean Central News Agency. I mean, so believe what you will of that. But, of course, you have to take the ravings of a lunatic seriously. You could be serious about it. And there is a belief that North Korea may not have the nuclear arsenal that it projects to have, but it has some sort of nuclear arsenal that may be able to strike Japan or South Korea and set off a chain reaction. What is your assessment of the threat that North Korea poses and the response that was given mainly by Ted Cruz on topic last night?
Well, it is a very tense situation. Basically, the UN imposed new sanctions. This is the first time that all shipments to and from North Korea are going to be inspected. At least they're supposed to under the new UN sanctions. That combined with upcoming U.S. military exercises, some really large war games are set to begin next week, and you have a lot of saber rattling from North Korea. They're expecting this. A lot of bluster from Pyongyang. They're known for their bombastic rhetoric and threats to turn South Korea into sea of fire, attack the U.S. Basically, they're not too worried. Again, everybody's on alert to make sure that they don't try any provocations. The South Koreans are taking a much tougher position. The president of South Korea just this week gave a speech where she said, look, we have been conciliatory toward the North. We've been trying to work this out. We've been seeking help from China, and it's not working. We have a dangerous situation on the peninsula.
So the North Korean military released a statement saying that the war games would involve rehearsing what's called a decapitation operation. Can you describe what that is?
Yes. According to defense officials I talked to, these war games that are going to be held in South Korea will simulate a collapse of the North Korean regime and an occupation of Pyongyang. So I guess that's what the North Koreans are referring to. They have also said that if any effort to try and take out their leader or Pyongyang would prompt some kind of a nuclear response from North Korea. So that was unusual. Normally they have threatened a lot of things, but this was the first time they've made that kind of a threat.
And what is an intelligent American response to the news out of North Korea yesterday, in terms of actionable items?
Just keep your powder dry, basically, and be alert. And again, the warning time for any kind of an attack from the north is very short, so that's why our intelligence sensors will be geared up, our military forces will be ready, and South Koreans will be on alert, too.
Okay, Bill Gertz, national security columnist for the Washington Times. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's ask for some active duty military to call in on the Trump comments.
And they have 312-642-5600 is our number.
Let's go to Brad in Crystal Lake, who is active duty Navy, as I understand.
Yes, good morning.
Hey, Brad.
So you asked for our input and what Donald Trump said in it, and I am a supporter, but when even with the sound bit that you just gave there, his leadership is, he's never had a problem, they will do what I say, that really rubbed me the wrong way, because prior to that, everything he had said was completely accurate. Our hands have been tied on how we're able to do things. But to come out and just blanket say that my will be done is essentially that's how I took it, that's not how that works. I mean, we have these people in the positions, and our current president has kind of hampered that by, if you didn't agree with Obama, he would fire you essentially, and get what he wanted out of the military. We're so weak right now. But
yeah, a la General McChrystal, yeah.
Yes. So, well, there's a lot more to heads that have rolled, and when you get to this point, you're going to just replicate what we've had with our current president. If we don't follow President Trump's orders, we're going to get canned. There's the Geneva Conventions. You mentioned the Uniform Code of Military Justice. There's laws that we have to observe, and we just can't be all rogue about it. You have to be somewhat considerate, but we do need to be able to do things, maybe like waterboarding the terrorists to get our information that we need to. And even Dick Cheney said, hey, well, I'm all about being hard, but that's even crazy for me.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Brad, and for your service, of course. Joe in Naperville, active duty Army, I understand. Joe.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, I was watching the debate with a few of my friends who are also service members, and when Trump gave the response that they'll do it because I told you to, it didn't get a very good response. I mean, the leaders that we have in the military are far above any quality that Trump's ever done on his real estate deals. And to say we'll just do something because he says to, an unlawful order to kill innocent people is ridiculous, and it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks,
Joe. Thank you for your service. Yeah. And
because he does. With that soundbite, he sounded like a dictator. Really, they're going to do what I tell them to do. I mean, he's just barking. He's just giving people empty promises. I mean, things that he can't do. You cannot order the military to kill civilians. It's not going to happen.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Plenty of sunshine right now, going up to a high today of 38 degrees. But tonight into tomorrow, we're going to have some clouds and some light snow. Otherwise, Saturday afternoon, breezy, cloudy, a high of 42 degrees. And on Sunday for the polar plunge, it'll be breezy with mostly sunny skies, a high near 50. See if there's any trouble on the roadways. Here's Jim Telemonte.
If only we could just order it all to go away, but it's a mess on the inbound Eisenhower from Manheim to Sacramento. It is an hour and 7 minutes from Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 39 minutes, though central to Harlem. There's a stall in the center lane. Edens, just 21 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. But the Kennedy, now 52 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 30 to Stevenson, an hour and 7 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. The Ryan, 32 minutes. 95th to the Loop. Lakeshore Drive has southbound delays from Irving Park to Fullerton and northbound 47th to before Oakwood. Crash in the right lane. Tri-State southbound heavy Washington to Eau Plaine, northbound jammed Archer to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, Adams Tollway bumper to bumper, Bartlett Road to 53, Veterans Memorial. Slow southbound Beesterfield to Army Trail after a crash, and northbound 75th to the Reagan Tollway and St. Charles to Army Trail. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
There are two kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders, as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers. End the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
CertaPro are the experts in exterior painting, but now is the perfect time to paint your interior. Refresh and renew your living space and escape the winter doldrums. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and I've used CertaPro several times to paint my home. They're fast, efficient, clean, so quiet I didn't even know they were there. CertaPro is easy to work with. Your life won't be disrupted by messy, inconsiderate contractors. They will move the furniture, and when they finish, they will move it back. With their color specialist, CertaPro takes the stress out of choosing the perfect color. CertaPro painters, we do painting, you do life. Call CertaPro today at 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. 1-800-GO-CERTA, 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's Certa with a C. And book your winter painting project. Schedule your free estimate today. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
I'm Dan Proft with an Upstream idea brought to you by the Illinois Policy Institute. 27. Illinois state employees, on average, receive total compensation 27% higher than their private sector counterparts. State employees made nearly $4,000 more in wages and $13,000 in benefits than private sector employees. More than half of state workers will retire before the age of 60 with a guaranteed state pension. The state is in a financial death spiral with ground impact imminent. So keep this in mind as Governor Bruce Rauner breaks off contract talks with AFSCME, the state's largest public sector union. AFSCME has been unwilling to give on its demands for annual step increases of 3.8%, in addition to annual general wage increases. The lowball estimate of the cost of what AFSCME demands is $1.6 billion. That's $1.6 billion more from Illinois families who already pay the highest property taxes in the nation. This is Governor Rauner's moment of truth. He ran for office saying he is not a politician. He said he is a businessman who will make the difficult decisions to turn around the state he loves. We're about to find out if that's true. For more Upstream ideas, visit upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
Your money. Find out how to keep more of it and live debt-free. Tonight on The Dave Ramsey Show, starting at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, some breaking news. Jobs report for February. U.S. economy added 242,000 jobs, a little bit above expectations. Unemployment remains the same at 4.9%. Labor participation rate rose a slight bit from 62.7 to 62.9. That is still a woeful number. We're talking about Trump and some of what he had to say, particularly as it pertains to the military just doing his bidding because he said so. Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The military officers are going to do exactly what they're told. Look at the example of the Navy SEAL that just got booted out for protecting that boy from being raped by the Afghanistan man.
Well, he didn't do what he was told. He took his own individual action, and thankfully that he did.
Marshal them.
Well, they're wrong. I know they were wrong to do it, but but he wasn't following orders. He was acting in furtherance of this nation's values. The question is,
the officers court-martialed them because they were told to.
Thanks for the call, Jordan. Yes, you can have situations where people will commit crimes based on I was given an order. But we know from history that that is no defense going back from Nuremberg to present. So the idea that military men and women are going to follow orders that are unlawful because Donald Trump issued them, if that's what came to pass, is laughable.
Alpha team, man down, man down. I told you. Manny, bring me everyone.
What do you mean, everyone?
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
One argument people make for green energy is that sources like wind and solar are free and forever. But the reality is utilizing sunlight and wind isn't free or automatic. It's not like you can put your iPhone out in the sun and expect it to charge. Using any natural resource requires expensive technology, machinery, and infrastructure. Like any other piece of technology, a windmill or solar panel requires ongoing cleaning, maintenance, and servicing. Sunlight and wind are, in fact, far more expensive to exploit than fossil fuels, which is why they've never achieved significant market penetration. Expensive and temporary doesn't quite have the marketing ring of free and forever, but it's a much more accurate description of green energy. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Ron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brooks Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Yeah. Looking to secure
don't
financing.
Look at me. That's you.
What? Who? What?
Where am
looking
I?
to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what Amy did and call David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. Jeff, a veteran, earned his VA entitlement serving in Vietnam, was recently discharged from Chapter 13 bankruptcy and called David for help securing a VA loan. Jeff stopped into his local bank before calling David, and the bank's supposed mortgage expert told him he'd have to wait 1 year after the Chapter 13 discharge to secure a VA loan. That's wrong. David informed Jeff veterans with VA eligibility could secure a VA loan 1 day after the discharge of a Chapter 13. David then introduced Jeff to one of his home sweet home Chicago realtors, Kate Waddell, who helped Jeff locate a home. If you're a veteran who would like to work with a lender who respects and values your service, call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David's helped Amy and Jeff and thousands of AM 560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit him at am560david.com. Pro Mortgage is equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358 NMLS 19186.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do no harm.
It's an oath every doctor takes, and Dr. Nick Stella takes that oath very seriously.
Do no harm.
Obamacare is a disaster. Dr. Stella will fight to put healthcare decisions back into the hands of patients and doctors.
Do no harm.
With the threat of terrorism becoming an everyday reality, Dr. Stella will make national security a priority. And instead of arguing about problems, he'll focus on solutions.
Do no harm.
For too long, politics as usual has invaded Congress. As a practicing cardiologist, Dr. Stella's focus is for positive outcomes, an idea that's been lost in Washington. Washington insiders have failed us on all levels: the economy, jobs, national security, healthcare. Dr. Nick Stella has spent his career helping people improve their lives. Dr. Nick Stella will be the outsider voice we need in Congress. Dr. Nick Stella, Republican for Congress.
I'm Dr. Nick Stella, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Stella for Congress, Inc.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
James Rosen, Chief Washington correspondent for Fox News, joins us at 8:08.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Once again, Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the Chicago Public Schools announced 3 furlough days for employees. We'll get a reaction. Metra creates a new police unit. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. A lot of Americans got hired last month, more than economists expected. Fox's John Decker has the Just Out Jobs Report live in Washington.
After less than spectacular job growth last month, employers added 242,000 jobs in February. Unemployment remained unchanged at 4.9%, and average hourly earnings declined by 0.1%. One caveat to the numbers: the data was collected the week winter storms hit much of the East Coast, which most likely pushed down employment figures in certain sectors like transportation. There have been 71 straight months of private sector job growth, the longest streak on record. Dave?
And John, on Wall Street, not much reaction. Stock futures are up slightly. They did it again last night.
This little guy has lied so much about my record.
Here we go.
Marco Rubio and Donald Trump and Ted Cruz clash in another Republican debate.
Between the bickering and name-calling.
You're the liar. You're the lying guy up here. You're the one. You're the one.
4 remaining Republican contenders were pressed on serious policy stances. Frontrunner Donald Trump admitting he's changed his mind on some visas for foreign workers.
I'm changing. We need highly skilled people in this country, and if we can't do it, we'll get them in.
Ohio Governor John Kasich largely avoided attacking anyone on stage, instead describing himself as a unifier.
I know how to bring people together, Republicans and Democrats.
At debate's end, a pledge from each: they'll stand by whoever wins the nomination. In Detroit, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The UN's human rights chief is siding with Apple in the fight with the FBI to unlock a dead terrorist phone, saying forcing Apple to create that software could be a gift to hackers and damage journalists and whistleblowers and political dissidents. Stephen Larson represents families of the San Bernardino massacre victims and counters.
Apple does not have the right to basically say, well, we've created a safe haven for criminal evidence in the form of this iPhone.
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunshine, 23 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Staff members at Chicago Public Schools will be taking 3 furlough days in an effort to cut even more costs. CPS CEO Forrest Claypool announcing teachers and other employees will be forced to take unpaid vacation March 25th, June 22nd, and 23rd. CTU Vice President Jesse Sharkey had a reaction of the union that says most now feel disrespected.
If the board wants to avoid a strike, they're doing exactly the wrong set of things by attacking our pay and treating us with disrespect. This increases the likelihood that there's going to be a work stoppage on April 1st.
In Springfield, the Illinois House is voting overwhelmingly in favor of a bill to create an elected school board. In Chicago, details from AM 560's David Stewart.
The 21-member elected school board would replace the current system in Chicago, in which the board is appointed by the mayor. Mayor Emanuel avoided criticizing the bill, saying the real school problem is unfair funding.
That legislation doesn't address all these inequities, and that's what I'm focused on addressing. Bill?
But he ducked when he was pressed further.
I told you where I think the problem is, and I don't think what the legislation addresses that problem.
The bill is backed by the Chicago Teachers Union, which claims the current system gives Emanuel, or any mayor, too much power. David Stewart, Chicago.
A new police unit will be helping patrol Metra trains. The agency announcing 6 full-time officers will travel in uniform and in plain clothes on all 11 of Metra's lines. Chicago sports: Bruins over the Blackhawks 4-2. College hoops in the Big Ten: Maryland topped Illinois, Northwestern over Penn State. In the Valley Tournament, Loyola beat Bradley 74-66. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Sports Authority is getting ready to hold its going out of business sales. The chain has filed for bankruptcy reorganization, and the judge has agreed to allow some of its money to go for those sales. Sports Authority hopes to keep some of its stores open. It's looking for a buyer for the remaining part of the company. Sporting goods chain Modell's could be among the bidders. Facebook is changing the way it pays its taxes in Europe after a lot of criticism. Facebook's been paying its United Kingdom taxes by having clients send the payment through Ireland, which has a lower tax rate, and then to the Cayman Islands. Instead, Facebook will now have its UK clients send checks right to the Facebook affiliate in the UK. Carmike Cinemas is being sold. AMC Entertainment is buying the Carmike chain for more than $1 billion. AMC is owned by an investment firm based in China. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
Our time is 8:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You don't win by accident.
It's the Dave Ramsey Show.
So this is your year to win. You don't get out of debt. You don't save your marriage by accident. You don't increase the quality of your marriage by accident. You don't raise great kids accidentally. These are intentional acts that you make choices on the variables in your environment, and you form and control your life.
Make the most of your money and get out of debt. He's Dave Ramsey, tonight at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
At GoDaddy, a domain name is the beginning of something awesome. Use it to create a website to promote your business. Open an online store to sell your products. Start a blog. Build your brand. You can even connect your domain to your LinkedIn or Facebook page. And GoDaddy customer support is always ready to help. What will you do with your domain name? Get a free domain with website from GoDaddy.com, starting at $1 a month. Annual purchase of website builder required. Price valid first year only. See website for details.
Our time is 8:07. Let's get an update on the roads in our Chicago Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic is light on the Edens, 20 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 21. At the Kennedys, 55 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 37 from Montrose, 33 in the Express. Outbound 30 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 22 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, an hour and 4 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 37 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 7 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. Orion is 32 minutes. 95 to downtown. Tri-State southbound heavy, 120 to 137. Northbound stop and go. Archer to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway bottled up. Bartlett Road to 53. Reagan Tollway, a little slow around Eola. Veterans Memorial, southbound slow from Beesterfield on 53 down to Army Trail. Northbound slow, Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, and St. Charles to Army Trail. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds will increase today. We'll have a high of 38, then snow accumulating a coating to an inch tonight with a low 31. Morning flurries, otherwise mostly cloudy and breezy. Tomorrow with a high 42 and a partly cloudy night, low 26. Clouds and sun Sunday, high 48. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
25 at O'Hare, 27 along the lakefront. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome to your Friday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
And let me put it very plainly. If we Republicans choose Donald Trump as our nominee, the prospects for a safe and prosperous future are greatly diminished.
If he would have run, and even if he would have won, it would have been bad. He doesn't have what it takes to be president, that I can tell you. He doesn't have what it takes to be president.
Let me say something. This campaign for the last year, Donald Trump has basically mocked everybody with personal attacks. He's done so to people that are sitting on the stage today. He's done so about people that are disabled. He's done it about every other candidate in this race. Anyone who's ever deserved to be attacked that way, it's been Donald Trump for the way he's treated people.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Before we get back to Romney and last night's debate, a couple of housekeeping items on the left. President Obama and the family staying in D.C. for at least the next 2 years so Sasha can finish high school. Woohoo!
I knew that they weren't going to come back here. And when she finishes high school, they're still not going to come back here. The neighborhood where they live is way too dangerous, and that not even the Secret Service could protect the Obamas.
Well,
but no, come on. They're going to sell that home eventually, and they're going to move to New York. Trust me.
From your mouth to God's ears, I hope so.
Well,
I'm just happy we've got a 2-year reprieve at least, so that's good news.
Well,
Better than Chicago.
Yeah, and it proves that, sophomores in high school do really run the households. Because she didn't want to leave, in the middle of high school and then shift to another Chicago high school that would have been too much. She wants to keep her friends.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
But where is Obama going to live? I mean, isn't that going to be strange? Because mostly when you're done serving your 2 terms, or 1 term, you move out of the Beltway, you move out of the bubble of Washington, D.C.
He could build
where's he going to go?
He could build like a Howard Hughes type penthouse at the top of the Obama library and just live up there. And probably away from Michelle, too.
Oh, yeah.
One other note from the left. There is a movement afoot on Twitter thanks to a breastfeeding mom that appeared at a Bernie Sanders rally.
Of course she did.
Her name Ellie Bradford.
I thought her name would be like Moonbeam or Rain.
Ellie Bradford, her child was hungry, and so she began breastfeeding him.
So she has a right to do that.
Okay, take it easy, Gloria Steinem.
Well,
and
I'm a leche lady. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Yeah, great. And Sanders noticed her breastfeeding her child because she was breastfeeding her child while she was screaming socialist rallying cries, I suppose. Miss Bradford said on her Facebook page, after the rally, Bernie and Jane O'Meara Sanders,
a.k.a. Melanie Glinowitz.
Jane O'Meara Sanders.
What?
Both thanked me for doing what mothers do and taking care of my daughter when she needed her mom, even if that meant nursing in public. And now this has spawned a hashtag campaign. You ready for this?
Okay. Wait. Breasts for Bernie.
Boobs for Bernie.
Dang, I was so close.
Yeah, that is happening for real.
It is.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to break it to Ellie Bradford, but boobs for Bernie means something very different to most of us.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. One other note, the child she was breastfeeding was 22 years old because that's you're not of age until 26 in the new Obama world.
Oh, you're bad.
Yeah, I am.
You're so bad, you're good.
Oh, thank you so much. All right.
Giggity.
All right. I feel like Kelsey Grammer on Frasier.
Because the way you're dressed?
Well, yes, that. Because I'm having a glass of sherry, yes. But also because I feel like our friends and listening audience, I feel like this is like we're therapists.
I don't know. We are going to start charging. I'm on my couch right now, yes.
Dan from the Northwest Side, I'm listening.
Yes, I want to bring up about how much did Donald Trump pay Romney to make that speech yesterday, because it's to his advantage for Romney to come against him. And secondly, how much did he donate to the Pope to make that speech before the South Carolina primary? Because, your average Baptist, your average evangelical in South Carolina don't have much respect for the Pope anyhow. And I'd like to have...
Yeah, it turns out, thanks for the call, Dan. Pope Francis's approval rating, if there is such a thing for a pope, but his popularity is like north of 90% internationally. So, I think he has respect. You may disagree with him. You may not be Catholic, but I think people respect him. I respect him. I disagree with him. I don't need him to lecture me on labor economics or
But it's the first time the Pope has
junk science.
The Pope has gotten involved in American politics.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they shut that down. They did not entertain any questions further that reporters had about his statement.
Let me go to this really interesting piece, since everything is Trump, from stopping Trump with our Principles PAC ads, one of the super PACs. So this is the Ricketts super PAC, and they've got a litany of ads running. Here's a couple examples. This one is the I think the unelectable one is the most recent.
Will you unequivocally condemn David Duke and say that you don't want his vote or that of other white supremacists in this election?
Do you think this will put an end to the so-called birther movement?
I want to go on to what Donald Trump said after he said this is out.
The word is he wasn't a good student, and he ended up getting into Columbia and Harvard. How does he get into Harvard?
That's just code for saying he got into law school because he's black. This is an ugly strain of racism.
I flat out called him a racist.
I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks.
He does not have a great relationship with the blacks, and you can
and so on and so forth.
Gosh.
You get the tone and tenor of that ad. So that's one. I mean,
that's nothing. Let me try something else on me.
Well, here's another. Here's the problem with these ads too. They're all of the same kind. The music and the graphics and the words and the snippets back and forth. Like, for example, Trump University. You want to crystallize the Trump University matter in terms of trying to prosecute that line of attack.
Yeah.
Get an actual Trump University.
That's what I
student.
said. Remember 2 weeks ago, I'm like, why don't they get somebody who was victimized by Trump and get her to go on camera?
You have to personalize, humanize this so that people can wrap their minds around it. Otherwise, it's like it was last night, as Trump kind of going back and forth. I mean, it was like I suppose what a deposition with Trump would be like, which is,
I can't even imagine being
madness. Here's another one. Here, so you try this one on for size.
How much do we really know about Donald Trump? A federal court ruled that Trump's company hired illegal immigrants to help the construction process for Trump Tower. He even paid $1 million fine. And his new hotel in Washington?
The Washington Post interviewed about 15 laborers at the D.C. hotel site, reporting that many revealed they had entered the U.S. illegally.
Trump makes big money off illegal immigrants. Can conservatives trust Donald Trump? Our Principles PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Yeah.
How do you like that response?
Yeah.
It's from the heart. But the one that I like, and I've been hearing it a lot on, I don't know if we have it here, or if the Ricketts Super PAC is part of it, when they keep replaying the poorly educated. Thank you to the poorly educated. And then they, highlight his career.
Here's the thing. I don't think that Trump is held to account for his imprecise use of language. I think people listen to that and say, "Yeah, I know what he's saying. He's not insulting me. He's thanking me. Poorly educated means whatever. I don't have a college degree. He's saying it sarcastically because that's how the political elites would refer to us." I just don't think that has much currency. And so far, the results in the first 15 states suggest as much. But here's this, and this is the problem this is what I think all these moronic operatives, these incompetent consultants who've managed the Cruz and Rubio campaigns and the Jeb Bush and all of these campaigns into marginal players in this race, because they don't understand it's a psychographic. This story, it's a really interesting story. I've tweeted it at Dan Profton and posted it on Facebook as well. Not even my wife knows. Secret Donald Trump voters speak out. This is in The Guardian. It's really interesting, though, this cross-section. It's anecdotal, yes, but I think it's illuminating. Hispanic attorney in Florida, 29 years old. Before he ran, the left's stranglehold on the national conversation of what is or isn't tolerable was getting stronger by the minute. It was the year of Caitlyn Jenner, Rachel Dolezal, Black Lives Matter. Anyone who even hinted at disapproval was exiled. One example. A casino supervisor in Oklahoma, we're completely tired of government. A yoga teacher, 29 years old in Tennessee. Don't publish my name. It would ruin my progressive image. But as far as Obamacare goes, I'm not buying it because it seems ignorant to throw money at a problem and hope it will get better. Listen to this one. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Gay Arab Muslim student in Missouri.
Who goes to Mizzou?
Can you check off more boxes than that?
No, you can't.
Trump will break the poisonous bonds that hold America and the cult of Saudi Arabia. Hillary would never do that. She would continue supporting Saudi Arabia while bombing Islamic countries left and right. My parents are horrified, but I'm a Trump supporter.
That he's gay or that he's a Trump supporter? Or maybe they don't know that he's gay.
Yeah, maybe just generally horrified.
He'd be in a lot of trouble.
Anti-PC college professor, 50 years old in California. I'm angry at forced diversity. Evangelical pastor, 51 in Tennessee. I'm not electing someone to fight for my soul. Highly educated retiree in Delaware, 62 years old, PhD, MBA, JD. Trump is a wake-up call. British by birth, too, this individual. Retired biomedical engineer, 56 in Hawaii. It's too late for a cure. Basically, you have to blow the system up and start over. I mean, this piece, this article in the Guardian with just this cross-section of Trump supporters is more instructive than almost anything I've seen written on the topic of the Trump, what is now a movement. This is what we're trying to get to, and this is what those people running against Trump or trying to stop Trump or never Trump don't seem to fully appreciate. So, I mean, when Trump supporters say people don't get it, those are some of the people that the leadership doesn't get, I guess. Let's go to Kevin in Libertyville.
Good morning, guys. Hey, a couple things that have kind of escaped attention by the media, and I'm here to help. You're welcome, by the way.
Thank you.
Trump, we all know he bankrupted 4 companies, and a lot of people don't know what happens in a bankruptcy. Companies get really hurt, and from my understanding, the companies that he bankrupted, went out of business. My question is, has anyone asked them, hey, Donald, now that you're rolling in it, have you gone back and made those companies whole? Legally, he didn't have to, but ethically and morally, now that you're running for president, rather than writing big checks to Hillary, maybe you should go back and help these other companies. The other thing that's escaped the media's attention, at least so far, is when Hillary has made the statement that, hey, America has never stopped being great. Well, when pissant dictators get billions of dollars from the United States, and these dictators tell the United States, hey, our sole goal is to humiliate you, harass you, and we take your soldiers and parade them in front of media. Great countries don't allow that to happen. Great countries don't give billions of dollars to these crappy-ass countries and dictators. And I could go on from now until tomorrow on all the crappy things that this country has done under this administration that does not resemble anything resembling being great.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Kevin. Appreciate it. I like the idea at the beginning, though, the idea of returning, going back and making people whole, not to borrow a Hillary Clintonism. Reminds me of, you ever see Cinderella Man? Russell Crowe.
Oh, I love that movie.
The player, James Braddock. Remember, he was on welfare. He needed to take welfare because he was struggling to make ends meet for his family.
During the Depression.
And then he wins some fights and he gets some money in his pocket. Remember what he did? The scene, and I don't know if this was apocryphal or not, but it's a great scene. He goes back to the welfare office to return the money that he had used.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Did they accept the money, the welfare office? I can't remember, but I remember, too, he took a steak off the table and put it in his pocket to feed to his kids.
No, the great part about that scene was the look of shock on the clerk's face.
Oh, yeah. And you might be shocked to see the warm weather that's heading your way, but first we have to get through the weekend. Today, sunshine right now, but increasing clouds later this afternoon, a high of 38 degrees. Saturday, morning flurries, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy, a high of 42. And on Sunday, for your Chicago Polar Plunge, and my team, Amy Jacobson and Dos Ingladas, we are jumping in honor of our good friend Jake for the Polar Plunge, which starts at 10 a.m. at North Avenue. It'll be 48 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Amy. In Woodstock, 14 is still closed between Dimmel and Rose Farm for investigation of an early morning crash. Eden's just 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Kennedys, 54 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25. The Eisenhower's rough. An hour and 26 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. An hour and 8 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 34 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Clear outbound. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown, Lakeshore Drive. Southbound slow Montrose to Fullerton, northbound Balboa to Jackson. Tri-State southbound still sluggish, 120 to 137. Northbound slow 95th to 87th, Archer to 31st, and from the Reagan to North Avenue. Jim Talamonte, the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Khakis.
It's time for a little R&R. That was good. Courtesy of ChicagoRadioDeals.com. Escape to Wisconsin with an overnight stay package for the Schuster Mansion Bed and Breakfast in Milwaukee. Spend the night in Molly's room, their 2-room luxury suite with a private bath. It includes breakfast in the Victorian dining room and those fresh chocolate chip cookies. Yours for only $79 a night. Hey, if you need to stay closer to home but want a night out, laugh out loud and be a part of the show at Comedy Sports Improv. Tickets are normally $44 a pair. You'll find them at CRD for only $22. Hey, be sure to get your car ready for that special night out with a new deal from Fuller's Car Wash of Elk Grove Village. A full-service car wash package includes wash, vacuum, windows, and dash, an $18 deal for only $10. So make a date night and take advantage of all the entertainment deals waiting for you only at ChicagoRadioDeals.com.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy, so.
The only significant, among all the vitamins I changed, nothing affected cholesterol. I took this and my cholesterol dropped by 15 or 20%.
Yeah, with the acid reflux, and I have GERD and gastritis, and it really seems to be helping a lot, and my husband too. I mean, we're very happy with the product, I got to say it. It's been great, and we've seen dramatic results, so I can't say anything bad about it. We've really been happy with the product. We've been amazed with it.
There is a value in it because it has fruits and veggies, and I'm not a fruits and veggies eater, and I know this is helpful.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
AM 560, The Answer.
Talking Trump, text from 708. When you tank a company, the biggest losers are the banks and the investors. Trump was supposed to make Chase or Goldman Sachs whole. Well, that assumes they're all institutional investors, number one. Number two, vendors can often be big losers in bankruptcy, too, so that's not wholly accurate. Let's take Jerry on the south side.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, you're on.
The comment I was bringing here, I was just on vacation and sitting down with a group of people. Everyone is a stranger, effectively. And we're watching the news. People were flipping back and forth between MSNBC and Fox. One of the gentlemen there, an older retired fellow, had made a comment out loud that no one else was willing to make. And his line was, look, at everyone in this room, I would assume the vast majority of you are going to vote for Trump, but nobody is proud enough of that to say it out in public. Everyone in the room raised their hand with safe two, and one was from Switzerland, one was Canadian.
Okay. Thanks for the call,
Right.
Jerry. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah, right, associated with that Guardian piece I was
Yeah.
reading from, too, that cross-section.
You can't say that you're a Trump supporter.
Let's go to Dan and Addison.
Dan, are you talking to me?
I am talking to you.
Okay, thanks. I didn't hear that.
Okay.
All right. That whole debate last night looked like the whole thing was coordinated against Trump. And, you combine it with Romney's attack. Now, I want to preface this. I was a strong supporter of Romney. Well, actually, I would have preferred Gingrich, but they tore him up just like they're trying to tear up Trump. But where was Mitt Romney's outrage in 2012? And where was McCain's outrage against, the Obama candidacy in 2008? So, Mitt Romney's and McCain's precious gentlemanly behavior, what they made us pay for their gentlemanly reputation, because they didn't tear into Obama, and we all knew exactly what Obama was and how much did it cost us, because the debt has increased $10 trillion under Obama. So both of those guys got to act as gentlemen, and the American people got stuck for the bill for $10 trillion.
Thanks, Dan.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
This is Sandy Rios for Illinois Families First. For many years as a Wheaton resident, I supported my friend, Congressman Peter Roskam. Peter was a pro-life conservative who made me very proud. But right now, I can't support him. We are $19 trillion in debt. Yet in November, Peter voted for a $1.1 trillion budget that fulfilled every wish President Obama desired. Funding for Planned Parenthood was increased. No restrictions on Obama's illegal executive amnesty. No restraints on his plan to bring in thousands of unvetted Muslim refugees. Congress has the power of the purse, yet Peter Roskam and the Republican leadership gave up their only means of restraint, and worse, called it good. We are on the brink of losing our country. The time for games is over. On March 15th, send a message. Elect Jay Kensler as your new conservative congressman in the 6th District.
Paid for by Illinois Families First, a federal political committee, and not authorized by or coordinated with any candidate or candidates committee.
Hey, if medications haven't helped you treat your depression, why haven't you tried TMS therapy offered by Thermamind? Now there's a way to successfully treat your depression without the need for meds and their harmful side effects. TMS therapy is covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois and Medicare. Don't continue to suffer needlessly. Call Thermamind. Don't wait. Call Thermamind right now, 847-562-5868. That's 847-562-5868. The single greatest advancement to date in treating depression is TMS, and FDA-cleared, non-drug, safe and effective treatment. TMS has already changed the lives of over 50,000 patients, so why not you? Visit them at TMSmind.com, TMSmind.com, or call 847-562-5868. That's 847-562-5868. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Tea Party Godfather Rick Santelli responds to Romney at 8:38.
And then, how's it going with my quest to become a Swedish TV reality star? We'll give you an update. But first, let's go to Mike Scott.
Partly sunny and 27 degrees. Republican candidates Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz continuing efforts to try and knock down frontrunner Donald Trump. During last night's latest GOP debate, Trump was put on the defensive early. One hot topic, Trump University.
We have an A from the Better Business Bureau. We have a 98% approval rating of people that took the course. We have an A from the Better Business Bureau, and people like it.
Rubio called it a fake school and a scam, and says Trump being the frontrunner for the nomination puts the GOP in a tough position.
There is a 65% of Republican voters do not want him to be our nominee. He can never unite our party.
Cruz, Rubio, and Kasich last night all vowed to support Trump if he's the Republican nominee. Labor Department this morning releases figures on jobs and say employers added 242,000 of them in February and the unemployment rate holding steady. The government investigating complaints this morning that brakes can fail on Ford's popular F-150 pickup truck. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says their probe covers about 420,000 pickups with 3.5-liter engines from 2013 and 14. Experts know what it is that's making people sick in southern Wisconsin and have known for months. They just don't know where it's coming from. Health officials are looking into an outbreak of Elizabethiana that's left 18 dead and more than 40 others sick. Staff members at the Chicago Public Schools will be taking 3 furlough days in an effort to cut costs, March 25th, June 22nd, and June 23rd for the unpaid vacation days that may save the district $30 million. And the General Assembly is once again presenting Governor Rauner with a bill that would send contract disputes with the state's largest union to arbitration. The Senate yesterday passing a new version of the bill Rauner previously vetoed. He says it limits his power to bargain. Bruins over the Blackhawks 4-2. College hoops, Big Ten, Maryland over Illinois 81-55. Northwestern by 10 over Penn State. And the news a service of Chipotle. Chipotle is committed to serving responsibly sourced ingredients prepared with classic cooking techniques like responsibly raised chicken marinated in Chipotle pepper adobo. Grilled to perfection. Find a location near you at chipotle.com. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Even after a win in Nevada, Mike Gallagher isn't ready to call Trump the nominee.
The establishment, make no mistake, these guys do not like Donald Trump. They do not like Ted Cruz. But these guys are saying it looks like it's going to be Trump. You're not going to be able to stop Trump. And I have to confess, I don't see that right now. And I wonder if that's not a bit of a game that they're playing. Because there's a lot of gamesmanship, let's face it.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee. Period.
The Chicago Symphony Orchestra returns to Edmund Memorial Chapel at Wheaton College on March 23rd. Russian conductor Yuri Tamerkanov leads the CSO in works by Rachmaninoff and Brahms. Opening the program is Rachmaninoff's noble and demanding Piano Concerto No. 3 featuring pianist Denis Matsuev, followed by Brahms' Sunniest Symphony No. 2. Don't miss the CSO at Wheaton College on March 23rd. Tickets start at $45. For tickets, call 312-294-3000 or visit cso.org.
8:36 in our Guardian Security Services Traffic Center. We get the latest on your morning commute with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Edens just a little heavy. Wilson to the junction, 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 5 at 19. Kennedy is 54 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 30 from Montrose, 28 in the Express. Outbound, it's just a 4-minute delay now from Lawrence to Sayre. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and 21 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, an hour from Manheim. Outbound 32 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound clear. Ryan is 32 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57, 18 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop, 4:30. Lakeshore Drive, southbound slow Montrose to Fullerton. Northbound, 47th to Oakwood and Valbo to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State, slow in pockets from 95th to 47th. Then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway, stop and go. Barrington Road to 53. Veterans Memorial, just a little slow now from 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answer is when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, 80 years of quality mechanical solutions for your business. Clouds on the increase throughout the day, high 38. Coating to an inch of snow overnight, low 31. 27 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. On AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Hey, don't be caught without the facts. Listen to me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so your reaction to the Mitt Romney speech and the impact you think it'll have, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line, take your calls.
See, in my mind, Mitt Romney can do no wrong. And I loved him yesterday. I thought he was strong, assertive. For me, he got the message across.
But you say, wait. Isn't he a huge business success? Doesn't he know what he's talking about? No, he isn't. And no, he doesn't. His bankruptcies have crushed small businesses and the men and women who work for them. He inherited his business. He didn't create it. And whatever happened to Trump Airlines? And then there's Trump Magazine and Trump Vodka and Trump Steaks and Trump Mortgage. A business genius, he is not.
Yeah.
I just agreed with everything. He said that Trump lacks the temperament to be president.
You went in agreeing with everything he said.
I know. I love Mitt Romney, so he can do no wrong. And he also mentioned, too, the third grade theatrics and what's going on. He's trying, I think Mitt Romney, his heart's in the right place. He's trying to save the Republican Party from becoming a circus act.
Mm-hmm.
I know you disagree with me because I can tell by the
Well, I mean, I think there was some of the right message there. Some, not all. Wrong messenger. And what was lacking in the message, as I've suggested before, not just from Mitt Romney, but from a lot of the people who want to stop Trump, never Trump, hashtag, is some humility and contrition, particularly those who have been in positions of decision-making authority. Some humility and contrition for what has happened on their watch. What has happened to people who live conservative lives, small c, and who have been hurt financially and ridiculed culturally. And until they want to confront what has happened on their watch, those decision makers, including party elders like Mitt Romney, all that does, all his speech did yesterday, even though there is merit to much of what he said, all it does is fuel the Trump movement. And Trump responded by reminding people of his support for Romney in 2012 when he ran.
So with Mitt, I just wanted to tell you that he came out, it was very nasty. I mean, I thought he was a better person than that. I did help him. I raised money for his campaign. I actually had 2 fundraisers for him. In fact, the first fundraiser was so successful that we had the second one that same day. His wife, who was a lovely woman, by the way, a really lovely woman, she came up. We had a fundraiser in my apartment at Trump Tower, and it was so oversubscribed. I did a great job. They couldn't have cared less about him. In fact, a lot. Donald, he's a stiff. He's not going to win. I said, oh, he'll be fine. He's a stiff. I should have listened to the guy.
So that was.
Well, that was a nice reaction, but the original reaction, he was at a rally somewhere and talked about, Mitt Romney should get on his knees.
I'll just address it quickly because it's irrelevant. I could have said, Mitt, drop to your knees. He would have dropped to his knees. He was begging.
Yeah, he meant begging for his support.
The rhetoric is a little too descriptive for me.
Well, maybe you need to get your mind out of the gutter. Rick Santelli.
You led me to the gutter.
Right.
Trump led me to the gutter last night when he talked about his hands and what that means. And
Rick Santelli, you'll recall his harangue heard around the world in 2009, which launched the Tea Party movement. Rick Santelli on CNBC. He was asked about his reaction to what Mitt Romney had to say. Listen to what Santelli has to say, because I think he's got the Romney speech and its impact and the general response you're going to get from those who are not already inclined to ally with Mitt Romney. I think he's got it pretty well sussed out.
So I guess I'm a little lost that all of a sudden he has a courage that he didn't display at a time where the Vice President, Biden, and the current President, Barack Obama's, partially were elected because of the following statement: GM is alive and bin Laden is dead. It was all about terrorism. And Mitt Romney, if you'd have had that courage that day, would have most likely won.
So that's relitigating 2012, which I think a lot of people subscribe to that viewpoint. But also fast forwarding to present, what's lacking in the response to Trump, Santelli describes.
I think a lot of the things he said are grounded in truth. But I also think in his argument against Trump, and the positives of other Republicans, my comment would be, what have they done that should make voters think that Mr. Trump and all his verbiage is going to not do something, or his foibles, when they have been in power, okay? He brought up John McCain. Did he win? Did he win? Okay? I think that he is missing this. It's not necessarily what Trump says. It's what people think he's going to do after he gets elected. And that is things that are actionable. Now, we could debate what that is, and I'm not going to tell you if I'm in favor or I'm against. I'm just saying that the political landscape that Mitt Romney is painting is in a strange, surreal sort of way exactly why he was rejected and moderates have been rejected, because they talk a good game with high character and high morals, but they deliver zero.
Pretty stinging. Ron in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, good morning. I think what people are really getting angry about is a couple things. One is just the misrepresentation of the Republican Party for people that, like myself, that vote for him every year, like McCain, Romney, and when they see these political elites and the pundits and radio talk show hosts talk about these things that aren't in touch with the everyday people. And what the anger is that we feel like we're getting bullied, not only by the Republican Party, but by the Democratic Party, by terrorists. And, you know, what you teach your kids is when they get bullied, you don't tell them to, go sit in the corner and take it. You tell them to fight back, right? And I think that's what Trump is doing.
Is Trump the only one doing that? Ted Cruz is not doing
that's
that?
What I feel. Yeah, well, you know what? They say that when they're stumping, but when they get in office, they don't do anything.
Ted Cruz hasn't done anything. He hasn't taken up any fights during his time in the Senate.
I agree that he has, but again, so you have people like that. So you have two people, and Ted Cruz is not the one that his position or talked about putting the wall together, about stopping the illegals from coming in, about stopping the terrorists from coming in. So,
right.
You know, I think people view Cruz as part of the establishment.
Thanks for the call, Ron. I mean, I guess that tells you where some people are at. If Cruz is part of the establishment, which I'm not even sure really exists, I mean, it's just kind of an amalgam of interests that are moving about all the time.
How could he be part of the establishment when not one U.S. senator likes Ted Cruz?
Well,
or has come forward to support him, really.
Also, this vaunted establishment, not so vaunted, it turns out. All right, we'll continue our leather couch treatment here.
How much are we charging by the hour?
No kidding. Maurice in Winthrop Harbor, we're listening.
Hi, I just can't believe that all these people who support Trump really listen to a word that Ted Cruz said. Ted Cruz is not a part of the establishment. He's never been a part of it. In fact, the most person who's been a part of it because he's one who's been a politician before he even got elected by supporting all of the candidates, the Democrats for the most part, and yet these people want Trump to be the person. I bet you these people who are calling for Trump are really Democrat disguise, and they're just putting a show on, just like Trump is. There's no way. If you listen to Ted Cruz, he is a man of substance, a man of character, specifics, and a history of conservatism. I doubt that anyone who supports Trump really even will vote for Trump on this radio station. I bet you they're going to vote for Hillary Clinton, because the vote for Trump is a vote for Hillary Clinton.
Thanks for the call, Maurice. I'm not sure about that, though, man. The turnout so far in the first 15 states on the Republican side has been massive, and you've got to say that is mostly attributable to Trump.
And you know how I love numbers, but if you look at the Republicans, how many have voted? Democrats, how many have voted? Republicans, 5,040,000. Democrats, 2.5 million.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a huge, huge difference.
I keep making the comparison to 2008. You've got a populist demagogue with a different disaffected constituency driving a movement. That's what's happening. Sean in Elmwood Park.
Maurice was exactly correct. And Mitt's problem was thinking that facts and reason and substance is going to matter to a Trump Christian. We identified that months ago. But I want to tell you something real quick. I was blessed enough to be 9 years old during the bicentennial year. I was blessed enough to have relatives who fought in World War II and took a liking to me and told me the stories of what World War II was and how it was a fight against not just socialism but a twisted fascism. And it inspired me to read about our country and love the fact that it was about liberty. It was about freedom. It was more than just flag waving, but I was so proud that I always had a flag on my house, and I always had a flag, whatever I did, and it meant something to me. And in 2008, when we elected the son of a communist and the fraud, it wasn't so much him that made me take that flag down. It was the fact that my fellow citizens bought it. I was ashamed of them, that they bought this rhetoric and this nonsense of utopia, and they couldn't see it for what it was. And here we are again, and I feel the exact same way. And the reality is that for 4 more years, I am ashamed of my fellow citizens. And if you support Trump, after all of the evidence that's out there, and if you can say that a guy like Cruz is part of the establishment, you're not who I thought you were. I'm not ashamed that Carlton Sheets, who's a fraud from soup to nuts like Donald Trump. And by the way, it isn't your hands that Melania likes about intimacy. It's waiting for your Viagra to kick in so she can thumb through Pinterest, you fraud.
All right, Sean, thanks for the call. Greg in Naperville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, Greg.
Hello. Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Well, I was not originally for Trump. I've been a Republican for 32 years, but I am so irate at the RNC for their attack because they're forgetting one thing. This is an election, not a selection. And my friends and all of us at the club last night, we're all going to vote for Trump, just as a rebellion to the RNC for their tactics.
Thanks for the call, Greg.
Welcome.
It's a revolt.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, plenty of sunshine, but later into the evening, the clouds are going to arrive. And we're going to have a light snow tonight into tomorrow morning. Otherwise, by the afternoon tomorrow for your Saturday, it's going to be mostly cloudy, breezy, a high of 42 degrees. And on Sunday, for the Chicago Polar Plunge, it's going to be breezy with times of clouds and sun, but fairly warm for this time of year, a high of 48 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. On the Kennedy Expressway inbound, getting a little better. Still very slow. Nagel to the Burn Circle, 50 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 34 from Montrose, 28 in the Express. Outbound, it's just a 4-minute slowdown from Lawrence to Sayre. Edens, 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound fine at 19. The Eisenhower, an hour and 21 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, an hour from Manheim, outbound 32 minutes to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's fine. The Ryan, 30 minutes. 95th to downtown, outbound clear. Lakeshore Drive, slow southbound Montrose to Fullerton, northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State improving, but still heavy from the Mile Long Bridge to 47th and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Adams Tollway just a little slow, Roselle to 53. Veterans Memorial, a little slow, 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. Northwest Indiana, looking good. Jim Talamonte and the Guardian Security Services Traffic Center.
Join me and presidential candidate Ted Cruz at the Northwest Suburban Republican Lincoln Day dinner taking place next Friday, March 11th at the Meadows Club in Rolling Meadows. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit 560theanswer.com and search the keyword Cruz. Time is running out to purchase your tickets, so buy them today. Expect 1,000 people there. And right now, though, we're giving away 2 tickets, two pairs of 2 tickets is what I meant to say. 2 pairs of 2 tickets to callers. Which numbers, Amy?
Caller number 10.
And which one? 10 and what? There's 2.
10 and 12. Please.
10 and 12. Callers number 10 and 12, 312-642-5600 to win one of 2 pairs of 2 tickets to the Lincoln Day dinner featuring Ted Cruz next Friday night.
I feel great. I've always felt pretty good, but once I started taking them in September, I couldn't have felt any better. Everybody in my household's been sick through the holidays. We've had bad snowstorms here, and I feel great.
This is a wonderful thing. I'm really getting a lot of benefits from it. I'm 70 years old. I'm going to be 71 in April, and I just feel generally much better. I would also say there have been all kinds of colds and flu around me, and I haven't caught any of them. I have arthritis, and that has not been as much as it used to be by a long shot. So it's touched me in many areas.
Good health is just a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Call now and take the health challenge to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
It's never too soon to start thinking about where you want to send the kiddies off to school next fall. And if you've thought about a private school in the past but figured, you know what, I can't afford it. Well, if that's the case, then we want to remind you about halfpriceschools.com. That halfpriceschools.com You can find dozens of local private schools that are offering vouchers for a full year of tuition at, you guessed it, half the price. There's no catch. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. It's really that simple. HalfPriceSchools.com has schools located all across the Chicagoland area, including Chicago, Palatine, South Holland, just to name a few. Now, this might make private schools a real option for your family for the first time, but do not wait. These vouchers sell out every year. Visit HalfPriceSchools.com. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. That's where Upstream Ideas comes in. Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted orthodoxies. In other words, Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. The following is a paid political announcement.
We begin with the scandal for the IRS. Medicare fraud has become one of, if not the most profitable crimes in America.
Whew. Washington's a mess.
Boy, sure is.
Nobody's doing anything about it.
Yeah, maybe your representative's not, but my congressman's actually getting some results.
Who?
Peter Roskam. He's led investigations into the IRS scandals.
Really?
Yeah, even passed a law to stop the abuses.
Oh, yeah. I saw something on Fox where they called Roskam the man leading the charge.
Yeah, he's actually forcing some accountability.
It's about time somebody did.
Make a right at the light?
Okay.
Anyway, Roskam's great on Medicare, too. Yeah, he's got a solution to stop the fraud.
Huh. That could save us some money.
Sure would. It's an easy decision on March 15th. I'm voting for conservative Peter Roskam. He's actually getting things done.
Paid for by Roskam for Congress Committee.
You know, this is candidate for Congress, and I approve this advertisement.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Do no harm.
It's an oath every doctor takes, and Dr. Nick Stella takes that oath very seriously.
Do no harm.
Obamacare is a disaster. Dr. Stella will fight to put healthcare decisions back into the hands of patients and doctors.
Do no harm.
With the threat of terrorism becoming an everyday reality, Dr. Stella will make national security a priority. And instead of arguing about problems, he'll focus on solutions.
Do no harm.
For too long, politics as usual has invaded Congress. As a practicing cardiologist, Dr. Stella's focus is for positive outcomes, an idea that